Chapter 1752. What's the point of thinking so much? Do you think you can achieve great things if you're scared? If you don't even ask, how do you know Mion will refuse? Leave it to me. You two don't have to worry about it. Grandpa Sue's words settled the matter. Mr. Sue and Mrs. Sue looked at each other helplessly. If only things were that simple. The problem was that things between Su Yu and Huamin weren't that simple. After a day of tiredness, Huamin took a bath with rose petals. When he came out, the babies were already asleep. "Mom, are they all asleep?" Huamin asked in a low voice. Young Meirong nodded. "Yeah, little Bean was easy to coax. She fell asleep after a while. Pudding was a little harder to coax. Her eyes kept rolling around. I could tell she's a naughty girl. I played some piano music for her. Then she got sleepy and fell asleep." Huamin was wearing a bathrobe and leaned his head on his mother's shoulder. "Mom, you've worked hard. Go to your room and get some rest. You have to wake up early tomorrow to take care of the little devils." "Okay, I'm going back. You should go to bed early too. You're going out tomorrow, right?" During dinner that night, she overheard the conversation between Huamin and Su Yu. "Yeah, I'm going to Ni Yang's celebration party tomorrow, but I'll be back in a few hours. It won't be long. Don't worry about home. You can stay a little longer. Lady Sue and I can take care of the little ones. You've been working hard for almost a month. It's time for you to relax." "Okay." After Yang Meirong left, Huamin quietly walked over and kissed the two little ones on the forehead. Their bodies had a strong milky scent that smelled especially good. Wow, how magical. "So, these are my daughters." Huamin turned on the dim light and looked at the two little ones sleeping, feeling warm inside. Then, she rolled onto the bed and fell asleep. "Huamin, here. Why are you sleeping in my class again? Is my class that boring?" The physics teacher complained indignantly. He picked up Huamin, who was sleeping on the table, and taught him a lesson. It's not your fault. I'm always sleepy at this time of the day. It's purely because of my biological clock," Huamin said in a daze. The entire class burst into laughter. "What are you laughing at? Shut up, all of you. I've studied physics for so many years, and I've interacted with so many students, but your batch is the most difficult to deal with." "Huamin, I heard that you're a top student. Could it be that all the top students behave like this?" Teacher Wu, please calm down. I'll try not to sleep next time. I'll try my best to control my sleepiness." Huamin's words caused another round of laughter. It had been less than a week since school started, and the students weren't very familiar with each other yet. They didn't even have a monthly exam. However, they heard that Huamin was the top scholar in the middle school entrance exam, so the teachers paid extra attention to her. Qin Shu sat at the northernmost end of the table, parallel to Huamin. There were 5 or 6 students between them, so they weren't close. They never said a word, but many girls took the initiative to sit around Qin Shu. They took the initiative to talk to him, ask for his QQ number, and even write him love letters. Huamin wasn't a pretty girl, so she didn't have many suitors. However, her desk mate, Zhu Lingling, was different. She was very pretty, so she was very popular with boys. Huamin wasn't surprised. After all, everyone liked to judge a book by its cover. This was the first time that Huamin was publicly criticized by a teacher, so she immediately attracted the attention of the entire class. Chapter 1753. Qin Shu tilted his head and glanced at Huamin. His face was still expressionless, and no one knew what he was thinking. "Aren't you a genius? Aren't you the top scholar in the middle school entrance exam? Come. It's been a week since school started, and I've taught you a lot of questions. Help me solve a question, and if you can get it right, I'll let you sleep in my class from now on. If you can't do it right, and if you dare to sleep in my class again, you'll be kicked out immediately. Little girl, you're so young, yet you're already so bad at school. Just because you have some talent, you don't know how to respect your teacher. I'll definitely talk to your homeroom teacher about this. This is outrageous." The physics teacher was a 50-year-old man with a strange temper. Many people didn't like him, probably because he was too old-fashioned and strict. Mr. Wu's words piqued the interest of all the students, and most of them were gloating. Zhu Lingling also broke out in a cold sweat for Huamin. She said in a low voice, "Girl, take it easy. If you can't do it, just apologize. Don't lower yourself to the level of an old man." At this moment, Huomin's consciousness finally cleared, and she completely woke up from her dream. She yawned lazily and then said arrogantly, "Teacher, hurry up and give me the question. The class will be over soon." There was a burst of laughter around her again. Even the class monitor, Han Su, couldn't help but praise, "This girl is quite interesting." The mischievous Wei Dong added, "I like girls like her. She has a temper, she's fun, and she's arrogant." Qin Shu was still expressionless. He lowered his head and played with the mini Rubik's Cube in his hand. It was as if everything in the world had nothing to do with him. The physics teacher was angered by Huomin's words. He originally gave her a question that wasn't too difficult. However, he suddenly gave her a question that would only be given during the college entrance exam. After all, they were only in their first year of high school. No matter how good a student was in school, they wouldn't be able to solve such a difficult question if they hadn't studied it before. Looking at the dense physics equations on the blackboard, the whole class fell silent again. Some girls muttered softly, "Old Wu is trying to kill Huomin this time. If I were to solve this problem, I wouldn't be able to solve it even if I tried for 10,000 years. Just looking at it makes me pee my pants." Everyone was quietly waiting to watch the drama unfold. They wanted to see the girl who was the legendary top scorer in the middle school entrance exam embarrass herself. "You can come up now." After the physics teacher gave the question, he looked at Huomin. Huomin raised his wrist and looked at his watch. "Teacher, there's still 15 minutes before the end of class. I have enough time to solve the questions, but I have a small request. Go ahead." The physics teacher looked at Huomin seriously. "If I solve it correctly, can you let me off a few minutes earlier? I'm a little dizzy from sleeping and want to go out for a walk to get some fresh air." After Huomin finished speaking, the entire class went into an uproar. Was there really such an arrogant girl? Was she trying to go to heaven? Wasn't that too willful? At this moment, the physics teacher's face was ashen. "You have to answer it correctly first. Then you can negotiate with me. If you get it wrong, you're in for it. Don't think that I'm a pushover," Mr. Wu said word by word as he clenched his teeth. Huomin slowly got up and walked up to the stage. He picked up a piece of white chalk. Then he quickly glanced at the question. Then he quickly began to solve it. His speed was unbelievably fast. Everyone was dazzled by his answer. "Fuck. Is this girl cheating? She's too fast. I can't even read as fast as she writes." Chapter 1754. That's awesome. Even though I don't understand what she wrote, I can't help but feel confident. I have a feeling that this time, Old Wu is going to pick this girl. Our class is going to produce a genius. The students in the classroom whispered amongst themselves, and they became even more nervous. At this moment, Qin Shu stopped playing with the Rubik's Cube. Then, he gently placed the Rubik's Cube on his desk. He slowly raised his head, and there was a slight change in his eyes. Mr. Wu's question was one that only appeared during the college entrance exam, and it was a very difficult question. This wasn't the standard for first-year students, so it was obvious that he was trying to give this girl a hard time. However, this girl was actually able to solve it. She was a god. He had seen this girl's interview on TV before, and she was as arrogant as she could get. At this moment, Qin Shu's interest was piqued again, and he was ready to enjoy this show. When Huomin finished writing the last character, there was only a little bit of chalk left in her hand. She looked down at her watch and said, "4 minutes and 35 seconds. It's just right, there's still time." Then, she threw the piece of chalk into the trash can and took a step back. The entire blackboard was exposed. Mr. Wu glanced at it and was a little surprised. How is this possible? "Mr. Wu, did I do it right?" Huomin smiled faintly. This kind of smile, from far away in the classroom, was reflected in Qin Shu's eyes. For some reason, he felt a little different. In his heart, there seemed to be a little ripple. Mr. Wu. Huomin saw that Mr. Wu didn't say anything, so she reached out 5 fingers and shook them. Mr. Wu came back to his senses and asked, "You've done this question before?" "I've never heard of it," Huomin said honestly. "But how is this possible?" Mr. Wu was still in shock. Not only did Huomin get it right, but she also solved it using the simplest and most shortcut that she came up with. This solution shocked Mr. Wu, but she actually got it right, and the equation made sense. Who did you learn this from? I've never learned it before. I researched it myself. I've done this kind of question a few times before. This question is obviously more difficult, so I tried my own method to verify it. The result is surprisingly satisfying. I think it's not bad. What do you think? Well, Amin asked the physics teacher arrogantly. Mr. Wu was dumbfounded. Finally, he came back to his senses and sighed slightly. The student has really surpassed the master. I didn't expect there to be such an amazing student among you kids. You are indeed a genius. Not only did you answer the question correctly, but you also used your own method. It is very worthy of praise. Students, if any of you can be at the same level as this student, I will allow you to sleep in my class every day. As soon as Old Man Wu said this, the entire class went into an uproar. Damn, what kind of treatment was this? She was allowed to sleep openly in physics class. Teacher, I still have 10 minutes. Can I go out for some fresh air? Go. All right. Hey, wait a minute, Mr. Wu suddenly shouted. Huamin, turn around. What's your name? Huamin. Hua, as in Huamin, Mian, as in Huiyuanjia. Huamin smiled sweetly. In the first week of school, Huamin's name was well known in the entire class. Even the story of her fighting against the physics teacher spread throughout the entire school. Many students from other classes would climb through the window every day to see who was Huamin. The degree of development of the incident was extremely exaggerated. Qin Chu picked up the imitation toy and continued to play with it with one hand. His speed was very fast. This girl was indeed very interesting. This was the first time in his life that he was interested in a little girl. He wanted to know more about her. When class was about to start, Huamin slowly walked out of the female washroom. Then, a tall and handsome figure blocked her way at the door. Hello, Huamin. My name is Qin Chu. He proudly introduced himself. What does your name have to do with me? Huamin became even more arrogant. After Qin Chu heard this, he smiled helplessly for the first time in his life. It seemed like he was right to hit a wall. Chapter 1755. Huamian couldn't help but laugh when she dreamed of this. Then she woke up from her dream. Only then did she realize that it was all just a dream. She dreamed of the beautiful memories of high school back then. Suddenly, her heart fell to the bottom again. She turned over and got up. She was no longer sleepy. She picked up her phone and looked at it. It was already 12:30 p.m. She got out of bed gently and carefully opened the baby's diapers. She changed them into new ones and saw that the two little guys didn't look like they were going to wake up. Huamin took out a cigarette from the drawer and walked to the bathroom. She leaned against the sink and lit it up. When she was extremely depressed, she would smoke. It was a habit she had for many years. She wasn't addicted to it. She just wanted to relieve her stress. She didn't know how long she would have to wait for Qin Chu like this. She also didn't know how long she could last in this aimless waiting. She missed Qin Chu so much, but she didn't know who to tell. She opened Qin Chu's old WeChat. She opened it and saw that it was full of chat logs. The last one was when they were preparing for the wedding. She teased him and said that she wanted to give him a red packet as a betrothal gift. Qin Chu transferred $1,314,520 to her, and she made a small profit. At that time, she felt sweet in her heart. Looking at it now, she felt like her heart was being cut by a knife. She didn't dare to think about what she would do if Qin Chu was really dead. Was he going to spend the rest of his life alone in such a desolate state? Under extreme depression, Huamin sent Qin Chu 6 words on WeChat. Honey, I miss you so much. She waited for a few seconds, but there was no reply. She smiled bitterly, put out the cigarette, brushed her teeth, and went back to sleep. Little did she know that these 6 words also disturbed the heart of a man on the other side of the world. He had always been on WeChat and had been relying on their old chat logs and photos of Huamin to get through this hellish time. The moment he received this message, he couldn't help but want to reply to Huamin. But he knew that he had to hold back. Now wasn't the time. Qin Chu stared at his phone, feeling terrible. He just stood there, motionless. It was as if she could see Huamin on the other end of the phone. At this moment, a bell rang. Qin Chu hesitated for a moment before picking it up. It was Lu Yin. Xiao Fei is almost out of danger. Thank you. No need. Do you need my help? It's all for my sister. I also want to investigate this Wasichian. I have a feeling that he has something to do with Ian. No need. Why are you like a block of wood? I'm just being nice. I don't need your kindness. After speaking, Chu hung up the phone. He was still the same, uninterested in anyone other than Huamin. Not even Hua Min's biological sister. Damn, this man's temper is really annoying. This is the first time I've met someone who dared to hang up on me. If he wasn't my brother-in-law and your savior, I would have blown him up right now, Lu Yin said angrily. Xiao Fei had already woken up. He looked at Lu Yin and said domineeringly, I want water. Okay, wait here. Lu Yin poured a glass of water for him, but found that Xiao Fei couldn't even get up. It was very inconvenient for him to drink like this. Don't you have a straw here? I'll go ask the nurse for one. Lu Yin was about to leave when Xiao Fei grabbed her hand. She turned around. What? Chapter 1756. No straw. It's dirty, young Master Qiao said proudly. Damn it. Big brother, you look half dead. How can you drink without a straw? Are you going to die of thirst? Lu Yin was baffled. Xiao Fei looked at her for 3 seconds and said calmly, I want you to feed me. Ahem. What did you say? I want you to feed me with your mouth. Xiao Fei's expression didn't change. Are you crazy? I'm giving you face, Xiao Fei. I don't care. If you don't feed me, I won't drink. It's up to you. You deserve it if you die of thirst. Lu Yin was bad-tempered. Hearing Xiao Fei's words, he was also very angry and directly became angry. Xiao Fei turned his head away and didn't speak. Lu Yin lowered her head. She was angry. Time passed by. Half an hour later, Lu Yin glanced at Xiao Fei and found his lips were dry. He looked pitiful. Her heart softened. You really don't want to drink water? Xiao Fei didn't speak. Damn it. Okay. I give up. I'll freeze to death if I'm in a cold war with a polar bear like you. I'm just going to feed you. I'm going all out. Just treat it as feeding a dog, okay? Xiao Fei. Then, Lu Yin drank a mouthful of water and walked over. She went all out and stuffed Xiao Fei's mouth, then fed him the water. Xiao Fei listened and drank all the water. I want more. Xiao Fei continued to order. Lu Yin's face flushed slightly. Why are you so nosy? I want more. Xiao Fei repeated. Okay. I give up. I'll make you drink to death. Lu Yin jumped into Xiao Fei's trap and fed him mouthful by mouthful. At first, he was drinking obediently. Then, for some reason, it turned into a strange kiss. Lu Yin felt like her brain was short-circuiting. She was used to fighting and killing, so she had never experienced such a situation before. She only felt that there was something soft in her mouth that kept stirring the noodles. It was a magical feeling. Her heart was beating faster than usual. Psycho Qiao. Hey, you're taking advantage of me. Shh. Don't talk, you're so noisy. As soon as Xiao Fei regained his strength, he kissed Lu Yin wildly, almost suffocating her. In the end, it was the nurse who pushed the door open and interrupted them. Miss Lu, young Master Qiao's body is still weak. Can you give him some time to recover? Lu Yin, in the nurse's eyes, it was Lu Yan's fault. It was so weird. Lu Yin was about to explode. Xiao Fei said gently, Yin'er, I'm a little hungry. Can you buy something to eat? Lu Yin didn't know if it was her imagination, but she felt that Xiao Fei sounded especially gentle when he called her name today. Oh, okay, I'll go buy it. Then, Lu Yin walked out of the room. Xiao Fei's face immediately turned cold, and he looked at the nurse. Call my father over. Young Master Qiao, you're still very weak. You need to rest. Cut the crap. Let my father do it. Xiao Fei's eyes were gloomy. She was completely different from when she was lying to Lu Yin. The nurse did not dare to delay and immediately ran out. When Lu Yin came back with a kanji, Xiao Fei switched to his gentle mode. Lu Yin fed Xiao Fei mouthful by mouthful. He reached out and placed his hand on her slender leg. Huh? Where are you touching? Do you think I won't throw a bowl of kanji at your face? Lu Yin said fiercely. Yin'er, if I die, will you cry for me? Xiao Fei looked at her gently. Chapter 1757. Pooh, what are you talking about? You won't die. You're a cockroach. Xiao Fei. Xiao Fei wasn't a nice guy to have fallen in love with a woman like Lu Yin. He had been chasing after her for years, but he never felt tired. He had traveled all over the world, from the Alps to the Himalayas, but this time, Xiao Fei really thought he was going to die. This was the first time he felt so close to death. He ate a small mouthful of porridge and said slowly, "This time I really thought I was going to die." Before I fainted, the last scene in my mind was the first time we met. Do you remember? The first time we met? When was that? I forgot. Lu Yin wasn't as emotional as Xiao Fei. It was when you were 10 years old. My father and I went to Amsterdam for the first time to find you and your father. At that time, you were standing in a field of tulips, wearing a yellow dress. From afar, you were as beautiful as a painting. Xiao Fei was a cold person and would never say such sentimental words. Hearing him say this, Lu Yin felt shy, and her cheeks blushed again. You were a pervert at such a young age. Lu Yin joked. When I saw you, I thought that my life with you must be colorful. When I was 10 years old, I often traveled between countries. My old man was always chased by people and couldn't take me with him. When I saw you in Holland, my dad and I just killed a lot of people. I was a bit depressed, so I changed into pretty clothes and went to the tulips to find redemption. Xiao Fei. I'm not a fairy. I'm a murderer. I'm not a socialite. I'm not a movie star. And I'm not a good girl from an ordinary family. I'm the leader of a world-famous mercenary group, Lu Yin, one of the top 10 assassins in the world. I'm a criminal wanted by Interpol. I'm not as good as I say. Lu Yin lowered her head slowly. For the first time, she hated her profession. Yin, there's something I've always wanted to tell you. I thought I had a lot of chances, but this time, I realized that we were almost separated by life and death. Lu Yin slowly raised her head. Xiao Fei held her hands tightly with both of his. Yin, if you're an angel, I'll follow you to heaven. If you're a demon, I'll follow you to hell. No matter where you are, I'll be with you. Xiao Fei. Before Lu Yin could say yes or no, she heard the door open. Lu Yin immediately pulled back her hand and stood up to keep a distance from him, afraid that others would notice. Third brother, it's good that you're awake. Father Qiao looked relieved. Uncle, you guys chat first. I'll go out and buy some fruits for him. Then, Lu Yin dashed out, Father, I was injured this time, and I suspect that a mole leaked my whereabouts. Yeah, Lu Yin said the same thing. I've asked someone to investigate this. Mr. Qiao nodded. Father, have you investigated my second brother? Xiao Fei suddenly asked coldly. Your second brother? Do you suspect that Xiao Nan? Father Qiao's eyes widened as he looked at his son in disbelief. Chapter 1758. The father and son of the Qiao family were discussing the mole in the hospital room. Lu Yin, on the other hand, suddenly had a strange idea. She dialed a number. Dad. What's up? Xiao Fei woke up. I know. How did you know? If I didn't know about this, how could I survive? I would have been caught a long time ago, Professor Lu said proudly. Dad, I want to go back to see my sister. No, I know you won't agree. I just want to go back, quietly. I don't want to disturb her. I still want to see my twin nieces. You have to. Don't you remember how you were chased the moment you got off the plane last time? I'll be careful this time. I said no means no. Don't cause me trouble. Dad, don't hang up yet. I have something to tell you. What is it? Qin Chu. My brother-in-law has an injury on his leg. I think it's because of this that he's unwilling to go back to see my sister. Can you help him? You're so good at medicine. Maybe you can cure him. I know about his injury, but there's nothing I can do. You should know that I'm not that good at medicine. I'm good at chemistry and physics, and I can research all kinds of explosives and biochemical weapons. That's why I'm being targeted. You've inherited my genes, and you're an explosive genius. Your sister, on the other hand, is a medical genius like your mother. Qin Chu's leg is very complicated and difficult to treat. He's a genius doctor, but even he can't do anything about it. What can I do? Unless... Professor Lu paused intentionally. Unless what? Lu Yin asked. Unless your mother. She might have a way. But my mother... Lu Yin hesitated at the mention of her mother. Okay, I still have things to do. I'll warn you one more time. Before Ian is taken care of, you're not allowed to go near your sister. Professor Lou hung up the phone. What the hell? I can't even visit my own sister and nieces. How am I supposed to survive if I'm afraid of this and that? Seriously? Immediately, Lu Yin felt dejected and listless and, you damn pervert, I'll definitely find a way to blow you into pieces. Oh, Lu Yin felt like she was going crazy. For the first time in her life, she felt like Ian was a difficult enemy to deal with. Ian had been the most difficult opponent and enemy to deal with over the years. Lu Yin had almost died in his hands several times. She had been playing a game of cat and mouse with him at the same time in the Su family villa. That night, Su Yu drove back on time to pick up Huamin for the celebration party. He had even brought several sets of formal attire for Huamin to choose from. But Huamin had already prepared everything for himself. It was rare to see Huamin dressed so elegantly in a long pink gown. When she tilted her shoulders were slightly exposed. It was especially sexy, but it didn't reveal too much. The white high heels were simple and elegant. Huamin's shoulder-length hair had also unknowingly grown longer. Today, she only had a simple braid, which was half-coiled. Behind her left ear, there was a red daisy, which was just right for decorating. Su Yu didn't deny that his heart began to race when he saw Huamin like this. She had never been a great beauty, but when she was beautiful, she could steal people's souls. I even prepared several sets of formal attire for you. It seems like I didn't do much. Su Yu smiled. How about this one? I bought it a long time ago. I didn't wear it much, so I asked someone to get it from South Hill Manor. Su Yu looked at Huamin in a daze. He felt his heart beating faster and faster. Dr. Hua, you look really beautiful today, Su Yu said slowly after a pause. Chapter 1759. Thank you. Huamin smiled slightly. Su Yu was wearing a black and white shirt with diamond-studded cuffs and buttons. He was only wearing a pair of simple black trousers, but it didn't affect his kingly aura at all. The black Lamborghini sped through the night and finally stopped in front of a five-star hotel that Imperial Star recently acquired. As soon as they got out of the car, they were surrounded by reporters. Miss Hua, long time no see. Congratulations on clearing your name. Miss Hua, you disappeared for almost a year. Where'd you been in the past year? Were you overseas? Miss Hua, why are you here? Where's your husband, Mr. Qin? Miss Hua, rumors say that you're President Su's girlfriend. Do you have anything to say about this? Miss Hua, does your sudden appearance at Imperial Star mean that GK and Imperial Star are going to work together? Miss Hua, the truth about Song Yishu's death has been revealed, but we're all curious as to why you turned yourself in as a murderer. Is there a hidden reason? Huamin didn't answer the reporter's questions. He only smiled slightly. Then she followed Su Yu into the hotel lobby, Su Yu's assistant, and stood behind them to maintain order. I'm sorry, everyone. Today is Imperial Star celebration party, and we won't be accepting any interviews. President Su and Miss Hua won't be answering any questions that have nothing to do with the movie. Thank you, everyone. Sis, you're here. And Young walked over from afar. Dressed in a handsome black suit, he looked like a superstar from head to toe. You're so handsome today. Kid, you're indeed a good-looking guy. You live up to your reputation, Huamin praised with a smile. And Yang smiled and glanced at Su Yu. President Su, I mentioned we can start now. Is everyone here? Su Yu looked down at his watch. Wait a bit. Jia isn't here yet. And Yang replied anxiously. Little Jia is coming. Are you going to announce your relationship? Huamin was stunned. No, I'm not going to make it public. I just want her to accompany me and witness my glorious moment. Su Yu chimed in, and Yang just signed a contract with Imperial Star, so he's not stable yet. I don't think he should go public with his relationship now. After he wins a few more awards and acts in a few more TV shows, his popularity will stabilize. By then, he can even get married and have children without any problems. After all, fans nowadays are rational fans. They won't be so stupid as to commit suicide just because their idol is getting married. Yes, that's a good idea. Huamin nodded, agreeing with Su Yu's idea. Then, the two of them walked into the inner area. The Imperial Star Palace was full of stars. In the luxurious hall, dozens of tables were filled with people, regardless of whether it was a big shot or a D-lister. All of them were present. Rather than calling it an Yang celebration party, it was more like a gathering of Imperial Star's employees. Su Yu and Huamin walked in and sat down at the first table. It was obvious that they were very important people. Su Yu gently pulled out a chair for Huamin and asked her to sit down. Then, he helped her put her jacket on the chair and sat down next to her. Then, he opened a bottle of water for her. This series of actions caused everyone's eyeballs to pop out. The female celebrities began to gossip in private. Wow, who is that woman? President Su is so nice to her. I've been at Imperial Star for 5 years, and I've never seen President Su treat a woman so well. Even Jian Tong, who was his favorite at the peak of her career, didn't receive such treatment. Look, don't you think that woman looks a bit like Mian Mian? No, Mian Mian looks like her. After Mian's plastic surgery, a lot of people complained about how she didn't look pretty and how she wanted to be more pure. It turns out she's imitating President Su's new lover. What a scheming bitch. Jian Tong and Zhao Qingyao both lost to her. She looks familiar. Why does she look like GK's Lady Qin? Some female celebrities seem to recognize her. Chapter 1760. Anyways, to be able to appear at such a grand event and be by President Su's side, she's definitely not someone to be trifled with. Let's just watch the show. Jian Tong sat at the second table. The moment she saw Huamin, she immediately felt extremely pissed. No wonder President Su wasn't moved no matter how much she tried to seduce him. It was because she was by his side. While Su Yu stood up to chat with the company's executives, Jian Tong stood up and walked over with a glass of wine. Miss Hua. Oh no, I should call you Mrs. Qin. Miss Jian. Huamin turned around and glanced at Jian Tong's face. Long time no see. Jian Tong smiled fakely. Yeah, long time no see. So you divorced your husband, President Qin, and are now with President Su? Jian Tong asked straightforwardly. Huamin's face immediately darkened. Where did you find that out? Huamin laughed. As someone's wife, isn't it the best proof that you don't follow your husband and always hang out with other men? So, you think that there's only one kind of relationship between a man and a woman, right? Huamin asked back. Jian Tong smiled contemptuously. What else? Are we good friends? Or bestie? You shouldn't be saying that to me. You should ask President Su. Jian Tong's expression changed slightly. Miss Jian, you're a popular actress and have been in the entertainment industry for many years. I thought you would have some backbone. I didn't expect you to be someone who bullies the weak and fears the strong. You pick on the weak, right? Unfortunately, I'm not a weak person. After saying this, Huamin turned around and glanced at Su Yu, who wasn't far away. Su Yu? Yeah? Su Yu immediately turned around. Come here for a moment. Huamin waved his hand and called Su Yu over. What's wrong? Su Yu looked at Huamin gently. Your employee wants to know what our relationship is. I'm too lazy to explain. Even if I did, she might not believe me. Come on, tell her what our relationship is. Huamin looked at Jian Tong arrogantly. Jian Tong had no idea that Huamin would be so straightforward as to directly call Su Yu over. She had not expected this at all. She was so scared that her face turned ashen. She was no longer embarrassed. She was afraid that Su Yu would get angry. Su Yu turned his head and glanced at Jian Tong. A trace of displeasure flashed through his eyes. Huamin and I are good friends. Is there a problem? No. Jian Tong lowered her head and didn't dare to speak loudly. Su Yu continued. Also, when did my employees have the right to ask about my personal life? Is Imperial Star very free right now? Do you guys have nothing better to do? Did I arrange too few jobs for you? No. I was just casually asking, Miss Hua. President Su, you misunderstood. After speaking, Jian Tong immediately turned around and didn't dare to say another word. She gritted her teeth in anger. She didn't think that Huamin would complain to Su Yu and ask Su Yu to teach her a lesson. This woman was too despicable. Dr. Hua, are you satisfied with my answer? Su Yu turned his head and looked at Huamin with a gentle smile. Very, thank you, President Su. You're joking with me. You don't act like a mother at all. Come on, sit down. The air conditioner is too strong. Don't catch a cold. Then, Suyu helped Huamin sit down and put his jacket on her. His gentle gesture caused another uproar in the studio. At this moment, all the female artists at Imperial Star were so jealous that their eyes almost turned red. Chapter 1761. Not far away, Mian watched the scene unfold with envy and jealousy. That woman wasn't stunning, didn't have a gorgeous aura, and wasn't very young either. She wasn't a movie star either. Yet, she was able to make Suyu listen to her. She was probably the only person in the world who could do that. Mian, aren't you going to propose a toast to President Su? Look, Jian Tong just went over. She even talked to President Su's date. Mian's date beside her teased her. Mian sneered. I'm not as stupid as Jian Tong. If you want to stay here, you need to know your place and be obedient. President Su isn't that easy to win over. Those greedy people will only hurt themselves and others. Mian now knew that it was impossible to seduce Suyu. It was better to be an obedient dog and do whatever it was told to do. Perhaps it was because Jian Tong was too famous and arrogant, so she didn't know what to do when she did things. Yang's celebration party was very grand. His status as Imperial Star's #1 was unparalleled. Yang sang 3 songs, all of which were very good. One of them was a very lyrical song. It was a cover of an actress's Little Luck. At the most emotional part of the song, he turned his head and looked tenderly at Chunjie, who was sitting beside Huamin. So you're the luck that I want to keep the most. We were so close to love. The decision to fight the world for me, the reign with me. Every scene was because of you, your pure heart. Chunjie was very touched. She nervously clutched her blue pleated dress under the table. In the beginning, Chunjie was afraid to be with Yang because of the difference in their statuses. Later on, no matter what difficulties he encountered, she would silently accompany him. The relationship between the two of them gradually warmed up and stabilized to the point that they were already discussing marriage. Huamian liked these 2 kids very much because they both had the best of personalities. After Yang finished singing, female celebrities came on stage one after another to perform. Jian Tong was supposed to sing as well, but she left early for some unknown reason, saying that she wasn't feeling well. After Yang got off the stage, he sat down next to Chunjie and chatted with Huamin and the others. During dinner, Huamin got up and went to the bathroom. When she came out, she was blocked at the door. Huamin, long time no see. Huamin raised his head and was slightly startled when he saw who it was. It was Jiang Yi, whom he hadn't seen in a long time. Only then did Huamin remember that he was also an artist signed by Imperial Star. However, he was not as popular as Yang because of his age. But I didn't see him at the opening of the concert tonight. According to his status, he should be sitting at the same table as Suyu and the others, or at the very least, he should be sitting at the same table as Jian Tong. So, Huamin was quite surprised to see him here. What do you want? Huamin glanced at his face. You look beautiful today. Jiang Ye's eyes were filled with amazement. He hadn't seen Huamin in a long time. Today, he saw her in a gown with exquisite makeup on. She was wearing Huamin. He was truly pleasantly surprised. Originally, he didn't want to attend Yang's celebration party. In the morning, Mo Shui said to him in a weird tone, You should go. What if you see the girl of your dreams? This made Jiang Ye's heart flutter. He didn't know what was wrong with him. He was a veteran in love, but his heart was taken over by a little girl. He hadn't seen Huamin for almost a year, but his longing for her only increased. Chapter 1762. Jiang Yi even greedily thought that if Huamin wasn't a genius doctor, Qin Shu's wife, and Su Yu's goddess, how nice would it be if she was just an ordinary little girl who could be by his side every day and be spoiled by him? Thank you for the compliment. After Huamin spoke in a distant manner, she turned to leave. Huamin, I heard that Qin Shu is dead. Jiang Yi's straightforward words made Huamin's heart ache. She turned around and looked at him with hostility. You don't have to look at me like that. I'm just stating the truth. Huamin stared at her for a few seconds and suddenly laughed. Mr. Jiang, does my family matter have anything to do with you? It does. I actually wanted to say that if Qin Shu is dead and you're single right now, can I pursue you? Mr. Jiang, you seem to be seriously ill. I suggest you go to Southside Psychiatrist when you're free. The doctors there are very authoritative. After speaking, Huamin turned around and left without looking back. She didn't even want to talk to this boring man. Jiang Yi looked at her slender figure and raised his finger to touch his lips. She's still so unique. I love her to death. What should I do? Jiang Yi finally understood why Hua Xiqian was so obsessed with Huamin. However, he hated Mo Shui to the core. Mo Shui was just an empty shell. She was a woman with no substance at all. No woman could keep a man's heart with her beauty. Mo Shui thought she was smart, but in reality, she was stupid. It was easy to get tired of her. On the other hand, Huamin was a calm and collected woman. She was like a spring breeze that blew directly into the softest part of a person's heart. Compared to Qin Shu, Su Yu, and Hua Xiqian, Jiang Yi had no chance of winning. He was just a clown, but he was still willing to love her, just like how one-sided love would also make him feel happy. It was almost 10 o'clock by the time the banquet was over. Huamin and Su Yu walked out of the hotel. Just as they were about to get into the car, Huamin's phone rang. Why don't you pick it up? Who's calling? Su Yu wondered. It's Hua Xiqian. Looking at the familiar caller ID, Huamin replied coldly. Give it to me. Su Yu rushed to take it. Don't worry about him. I won't pick up his calls anymore, Huamin said as he got into the car. Halfway there, Huamin lowered his head and was surprised to see that there was a new video on his phone. It was also from Hua Xiqian. Huamin had a bad premonition. He opened the video and his face turned pale. Su Yu, stop the car. Huamin suddenly yelled. Su Yu immediately slammed on the brakes, and the car came to a stop by the side of the road. What's wrong? I just remembered that I left something at the hotel. I'll go get it. What is it? It's a handbag, Huamin said in a panic. Really? I'll go get it for you. Then I'll wait for you here. I'll go sit at the bubble tea shop over there. Huamin pointed at the bubble tea shop on the side of the road. No, it's too dangerous for you to be alone. So he was worried. I'll be fine. This is a public place. I won't run around. What's the matter? You drive so fast, you'll be back in less than 10 minutes. Okay, don't run around. I'll be back in 8 minutes, Su Yu said. Okay. Huamin forced a smile. As soon as Su Yu drove off, she immediately hailed a taxi. Miss, where do you want to go? Tianfu Road, the Hua family mansion, Huamin said word by word. Chapter 1763. We're going to the Hua mansion. Miss, what's your relationship with Huamin? Are they relatives? The taxi driver asked nosily. Huamin didn't answer. Her mind was filled with images from the video. In the video, Zhu Lingling was lying in a dark room, fast asleep. She was probably drugged. She was only wearing a flimsy nightgown. Hua Xiqian left a message in the video. Mian, I want to see you at home in half an hour, or else. Zhu Lingling will be raped tonight, and the video will be released the next day. Do you think the Gao family will still want her? Will Gao Ran still love her? Huamin's brain was about to explode. She would never let anything happen to Zhu Lingling. She had only been married for a short time. If something happened to Lingling because of her, she would blame herself for the rest of her life. Hua Xiqian, don't do anything rash. I'll be there right away. Huamin didn't even think about it. Even if it was a tiger's den, she would still go. However, she felt sorry for Su Yu because she lied to him again. Sir, can you drive faster? I'm in a hurry. Miss, it's right up ahead, don't worry. When they arrived, Huamin took out 100 yuan and threw it to the taxi driver. Then, she quickly got out of the car. It was already 10 p.m. The Hua mansion was pitch black, as if no one lived there. After Hua Xiqian died, Jiang Hong and Hua Xiqian turned against each other and moved back to her mother's home. Hua Xiqian was the only one left in the huge mansion. He seemed to have a lot of feelings for this place, as if it was his only home. Huamin walked up to the door and pressed the doorbell. To be honest, she was scared. She was scared of Hua Xiqian. She didn't know what would happen if she walked into this house today. But she had to come. She had to save Lingling. Hua Xiqian, that bastard, only knew how to threaten the people around her. The door slowly opened. Miss, you're back? The person who opened the door was the Hua family's former housekeeper. She knew Huamin, so she was pleasantly surprised when she saw Huamin. Huamin was also a little surprised. Where's Hua Xiqian? Young master is in the study. He'll be down soon. I just finished preparing dinner. Young master said that you'd come back for dinner today. It's true. The nanny was very enthusiastic and invited Huamin in. The decorations of the Hua mansion were exactly the same as before. After Huamin walked in, he looked around and didn't find any trace of Ling Ling. He guessed that maybe she wasn't locked up here. Just then, she heard footsteps coming down the stairs. She looked up and saw Hua Xiqian walking down the stairs in a light pink shirt. Mian, you're here. Where's Ling Ling? Huamin asked in a cold voice. Hua Xiqian smiled. Don't worry. She'll be fine. I'm already here. I want you to let her go immediately. I already did. She should be sleeping at home right now. If you don't believe me, you can call her. Upon hearing this, Huamin immediately took out his phone and dialed Ling Ling's number. He couldn't get through to Ling Ling just now, but now he could. After 3 rings, Zhu Lingling picked up the phone in a daze. Mian, Ling Ling, where are you? I'm sleeping at home. Where's Gao Ran? He's on a night shift. He won't be back until morning. Are you okay? I'm fine. What's wrong? It's so late. Zhu Lingling was a little confused. I'm fine. Go to sleep. Lock the door and be careful. Then, Huamin hung up the phone. I didn't lie to you, did I? Hua Xiqian, what on earth do you want? Huamin stared at Hua Xiqian's face and had a bad feeling. Chapter 1764. Mian, why do you always ask me what I want every time we meet? What do you think I want? You're so smart. How could you not know what I'm thinking? Hua Xiqian sneered. How would I know what the devil is thinking? After all, we're not the same kind of people. Huh, why do I feel like you're full of resentment? Huamin didn't say anything and only looked at her cautiously. Don't be afraid, I won't do anything to you. If I really wanted your body, you wouldn't be safe and sound right now. It's not like you haven't stayed overnight in this house before. Huamin was shocked. Then, Hua Xiqian walked towards the dining room. Mian, come and have supper with me. I won't make things difficult for you. I'll also let Zhu Lingling go as we agreed. Don't make me unhappy, or else I won't be so nice next time. Are you threatening me? Huamin looked at Hua Xiqian angrily. You can take it that way. Huamin didn't come prepared today, so she didn't have any homemade bombs like last time. Hua Xiqian knew that Huamin didn't come prepared this time, so he guessed that she wouldn't be able to escape unscathed. Why are you still standing there? Come and eat. Hua Xiqian's eyes were full of love. When can I leave? I told you to wait until after dinner. Hua Xiqian, you have to know, even if I didn't prepare today, so you will find me if he finds out that I'm missing. Huamin stared into Hua Xiqian's eyes and said, word for word, you're using Su Yu to threaten me? Do you think I'm afraid of him? Hua Xiqian smiled, a deep smile on his face. Huamin didn't say anything. He just looked at her. Mian, everyone says you're smart, but sometimes you're so silly that you're adorable. If I really wanted to do something to you, do you think I would see you find me? And even if he did find you in time, I would have done everything I could. Just like now, even if I did something to you, you wouldn't be able to resist, right? After he finished speaking, Hua Xiqian stood up and walked over. Before Huamin could react, he pressed her against the wall with both hands. The two of them faced each other, and the distance between them was extremely close. Huamin could even hear his own heartbeat. Was this the popular trend on the internet recently? Cabotin? Huamin wasn't prepared for this at all. Looking at Hua Xiqian at such a close distance, she felt her rationality crumbling bit by bit. Hua Xiqian, I'm warning you, don't do anything rash. Otherwise, I'll immediately die in front of you. You're still so silly and adorable. But I still love you so much. What should I do? His tone gradually became gentler, as if it was different from usual. His eyes were filled with lust. Huamin trembled with fear. Hua Xiqian leaned down. Huamin thought he was going to kiss her, so she tilted her head to avoid him. To her surprise, he only put his head near her neck and greedily inhaled her unique fragrance. Mian, In this world, you're the only one who can make me feel at ease. You make me feel that time is gentle, that time is still, and that life is full of happiness. Mion, am I right? You? Huamin was just about to speak when Huasiqian grabbed her wrist and pulled her to the dining table. Huasiqian, let go of me, don't touch me. Huamin was very resistant to physical contact with Huasiqian. It was especially disgusting. So, she struggled with all her might. Chapter 1765. Be a good girl and eat. We won't talk about anything else today. Just eat supper with me. That's all. After speaking, Huasiqian sat down across from Huamin. There was a seafood feast on the table, with a giant Boston lobster in the middle of the table. Huasiqian picked up the soup bowl, filled it with seafood soup, and placed it in front of Huamin. Drink it while it's hot. It tastes really good. After speaking, Huasiqian began to eat. His movements were elegant and slow. Just like every other time they ate, he looked like a well-mannered gentleman. However, Huamin knew that this wasn't his true self. Huamin sat across from her, but didn't move at all. To be honest, she had no appetite in front of Huasiqian. She couldn't eat anything. Even if she was hungry, she wouldn't be interested in these delicacies. Huasiqian didn't seem to care about this awkward situation. All he wanted was for Huamin to sit across from him. Therefore, he didn't hesitate to kidnap Zhu Lingling in exchange for a chance to eat with her. In other people's eyes, his love and methods might be pitiful, but he was very satisfied with it. No matter what the process was, the result was what he wanted today. He just wanted Huamin to have a simple meal with him. Mion, I have a lot of work to do with the company recently. Sometimes I wonder why I'm so busy. I have more money than I can spend in this lifetime, and I've proven my worth. I can make more money, but what's the point of living like this day after day, year after year? Is this the life I want? Huamin didn't say anything. He just listened quietly. The new female secretary has big breasts, but you can tell they're made of silicone at a glance. Her face is not bad, and her education is good as well. She's just a little too bitchy. You know that I've never lacked women, so I wasn't interested in her at all. I directly sent her to the public relations department. The company has been training female artists recently, and the auditions have also started. The judges are each more disgusting than the last. Not only do they want money, they even want to sleep with the newcomers. One is willing to be beaten, and the other is willing to be beaten, but they're actually willing to offer their bodies. Isn't a woman's first time the most precious thing? Are money and power that important? Huamin still didn't say anything. He just listened to Huasiqian talk to himself. After Mayor Yin took office, he changed a lot of policies and is very close to the entrepreneurs in the city. I can tell that he wants to make some achievements to shut the mouths of the higher-ups. He has a daughter who's really retarded. Her IQ is low, and she needs to recharge. She really thinks she's the second Song Yisher. But to be honest, even if she's that kind of woman, I wouldn't fuck her in bed because I'm not interested. After saying a lot, Huamin still didn't say anything. Huasiqian picked up his glass of red wine and took a sip. Then, he looked up and asked gently, "How about you, Mion? Have you been well this past year?" "Ha, have I been well? Do you need to ask such a question? Do you think I've been well?" Huamin looked at him with a cold smile. "You're still blaming me for your Qin Chu's death. But have you thought about it? He's not the only one for you. He's too selfish and only cares about himself. He doesn't care about your feelings at all. All I have to do is threaten him, and he'll divorce you immediately. A man like that is so unreliable. I don't understand why you still like him." Huasiqian's voice was a little agitated. Chapter 1766. Shut up. I won't let you talk about him like that. Qin Chu is the person who loves me the most in the world. He's not selfish. He loves me so much that he's always thinking about me. That's why you're using him. He loves me so much that he doesn't say anything. He just quietly does everything for me while he suffers pain that normal people can't endure. I owe Qin Chu so much. I'm willing to use my entire life to repay him. If I don't have the chance in this life, then I'll wait for the next one. Haha. So you're not moved by Suyu? Huasiqian asked with a smile. Suyu, He's been through life and death situations with me. He'll always be my most important friend. So you're just friends? Ha. Then Suyu seems to be even more pitiful than me. I've done so many things to hurt you, but you're willing to remember me for the rest of your life out of hatred. But he's done so much for you, but he's only a friend. So I'll never be as stupid as him, seeing that he can't get what he likes, but still silently giving it his all. Everyone is different. To be honest, no matter how rich or powerful you are, you'll never be as open-minded and broad-minded as Suyu. You're destined to be stuck in your own corner for the rest of your life. You're just a narrow-minded person, huh? Well said. So what if I'm a narrow-minded person? I don't care what other people think of me. In this world, you're the only one I care about. You're wrong. You only care about yourself. Huamin immediately retorted. Fine. Every time we argue, we can't come to a conclusion. I'm too lazy to argue with you. Hurry up and eat. The food's getting cold. I'm not eating. Are you afraid that I'll drug you? Huasiqian chuckled. Huamin remained silent. Just then, one of Huasiqian's subordinates came in with a report. Boss, Suyu's people are on their way here. They'll be here in 5 minutes. They really don't let me have a peaceful meal. Suyu picked up a wet towel and wiped his hands. Then, he slightly stood up. What are you doing? Huamin looked at him warily. What? Are you afraid that I'll hurt him? Your knight? Huasiqian, I'm warning you, don't do anything stupid. Suyu is the only grandson of the Su family. If he does anything to you, you'll die a horrible death. Huamin warned. Don't scare me. I'm not scared. Mian, don't play mind games with me. I'm not an idiot. I won't fall for it. After speaking, Huasiqian stood up and left, but before he could reach the door, with a bang, the door was kicked open. Suyu entered the room with an ashen face. The first thing he saw was Huamin standing there unscathed. Behind him was An and a few of his subordinates. There weren't many of them, but they came prepared, and was a very low-key assistant. Huamin noticed that he had been by Suyu's side for the longest time. He didn't look good and didn't have outstanding business skills, but for Suyu to be able to stay so close to him, there must be something special about him. Seeing that Huamin was fine, Suyu immediately let out a sigh of relief. Then, without another word, he walked over, grabbed Huamin's arm, and walked out. Mian, are you okay? I'm fine. Huamin shook her head. Okay, as long as you're fine, let's go home. Suyu tightly held onto Huamin's wrist, as if he was afraid that she would disappear at any moment. Just as they were about to reach the door, they were suddenly stopped by someone. What's the meaning of this? How dare you stop me? Suyu turned around and looked coldly at Huasiqian. Chapter 1767. Huasiqian looked at him with a smile. President Su, don't be in such a hurry. Let's take things as they come. I just don't want to have too much to do with people like you. But I don't let people come and go as they please. Why don't we have a fight? I heard you have good stamina. Huasiqian rolled up his sleeves and laughed. Suyu sneered. You want to fight me? Are you sure? I know you were in the special forces. I heard you're good at fighting, so I've always wanted to give it a try. Huasiqian had been angry ever since he was beaten up by Suyu in front of everyone at the ribbon-cutting ceremony. However, he couldn't fight back because of his pride, but that didn't mean he let it go. Now, it seemed like a good opportunity for revenge. Tell me first, how many of you are coming at me together? Suyu looked at Huasiqian with contempt. President Su, you must be joking. Of course it's one-on-one. I don't like to bully others with numbers. Very well, I'm going to beat the crap out of you today. Suyu let go of Huamin's hand. Suyu, don't fight with him. What if it's a trap? Huamin reminded him in a low voice. It's okay, don't be afraid. Wait for me on the side. After I deal with him, we'll go home. Suyu gently comforted Huamin. Huasiqian slowly unbuttoned his shirt. Then, he threw his shirt on the ground. Boss. His subordinates behind him began to worry. When we start fighting, no one is allowed to take half a step forward. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. Suyu turned around and looked at In and the others. I'll take care of my own business, don't worry about it. President Su was a little worried. It's okay. After that, Suyu clenched his fists, and his eyes were filled with a sharpness that had never been seen before. It had been a long time since he had fought. He did not know if his skills were still as good as before, but he was confident that he would let Hua Xiqian have a taste of his prowess. "Come on." Hua Xiqian gestured at Su Yu with his finger, his tone full of provocation. Su Yu was instantly enraged. He rushed forward and threw a punch. Huamin watched from the side with fear in his heart. This was a brutal fight, and it was barehanded. It was a competition of speed, strength, reaction, and resistance. Hua Xiqian wasn't as weak as he had imagined. Instead, he was quite skilled, and his punches were steady. Su Yu's attacks were extremely ruthless. He wanted to cripple Hua Xiqian with every move, but his reaction was surprisingly fast. More than 10 minutes had passed, but he still hadn't hurt the other party at all. Everyone was becoming more and more cautious. Huamin stood on the side and listened as and whispered, "Hua Xiqian's fighting skills are not simple. It's an advanced fighting technique trained by the Israeli Special Forces. It's very powerful and very technical. It won't be easy for President Su to win." As he spoke, Su Yu was suddenly punched in the stomach. He gritted his teeth and did not make a sound. Huamin, on the other hand, was terrified. "Su Yu, be careful." Huamin couldn't help but blurt out. Hua Xiqian raised his hand and kissed his finger. He looked at Huamin and smiled. "Mian, you're so biased. I've known you for so long, but not only did you not cheer for me, you even cheered for my opponent. It really makes me sad. Hua Xiqian, cut the crap. Hurry up and finish this fight with your grandpa." Su Yu really hated the way Hua Xiqian harassed Huamin. He thought that Hua Xiqian was a complete pervert. After speaking, Su Yu rushed up again, his movements fast and accurate. Chapter 1768. This intense battle lasted for an hour and 40 minutes. Everyone stood around and watched quietly, but no one dared to get involved. Huamin's heart was in her mouth the entire time. She was afraid that Su Yu would get hurt because Hua Xiqian didn't look that weak. In the end, Su Yu and Hua Xiqian were both drenched in sweat, covered in wounds, and exhausted. Hua Xiqian wiped the blood off the corner of his mouth. "Su Yu, you're awesome. You guys can go now." Su Yu reached out his hand to wipe the sweat off his face. Then he turned his head, endured the pain, and grabbed Huamin's hand to walk out. After they got into the car, Huamin immediately asked, "How are you feeling? Are your injuries serious? Do you need to go to the hospital?" "I'm fine. It's not serious. Just some superficial wounds. I'll go home and bandage them myself." "I'll drive you home first, then go home." "No. I'll go home with you first and bandage your wounds. Then I'll go home. I can do it myself." Su Yu smiled helplessly. "I'm a doctor. You can't be more professional than I am," Huamin ordered forcefully. Okay. Dr. Hua, please don't be angry. I'll listen to you." In the end, Su Yu couldn't argue with Huamin, so he drove directly to Su Yu's private mansion. After Huamin entered, she immediately took out the first aid kit. Then she helped Su Yu take off his pure white shirt. The moment she took off his shirt, Huamin's heart began to hurt slightly. His front and back were bruises. Although there weren't any bleeding wounds, these internal injuries were more serious. They couldn't be seen with the naked eye, but they were very painful. She took out iodophor and carefully wiped the bruises on his body. Su Yu didn't dare to cry out in pain because he didn't want Huamin to worry. He just sat there with his back straight, not moving at all. Huamin's fingers would occasionally accidentally touch his skin, creating a slight ripple in his heart. Hua Xiqian is unexpectedly trash. He's learned martial arts, and he's very professional. Su Yu commented, "He never does anything he's not confident in. If he dared to fight you one-on-one, he wouldn't let you beat him." Huamin added, "Your analysis is very good. It seems like you know him well. I've known him for many years. His personality is strange and changeable. But no matter what, he can't change his conceited nature. Fortunately, you're good at fighting. Otherwise, if you were injured, Su Yu said, "Means words." Huamin, "Mean what will you do?" Su Yu asked. Mean to Hua Tamai, Huanis mean upon hearing the word friend. Su Yu's eyes flashed with disappointment. After Huamin quickly disinfected Su Yu, he applied medicine, wiped the alcohol off his wounds, and finally wrapped a bandage around his wounds. Although there aren't any destructive wounds, you still need to be careful not to touch water. It'll heal faster, and if you bathe, don't soak in it for too long. Got it, Dr. Hua. Suyu smiled. You should rest early. I'm going back. I'll drive you. It's okay. You're injured, don't worry about it. Let and drive me, Huamin said. Okay, you should rest early too. The 1-month-old party is the day after tomorrow. There will be a lot of people at home. You'll be busy. Okay. Huamin then followed and out of Suyu's mansion. Although Suyu was injured, it was worth it to have Huamin personally bandage his wounds. After Huamin left, Suyu lay in bed, unable to fall asleep. Chapter 1769. After Huamin sent him away today, he felt that something was wrong, but he didn't suspect anything. When he arrived at the hotel and didn't find any handbag, he realized that he had fallen into a trap. When he returned, Huamin was nowhere to be found. He immediately got someone to investigate Huamin's call records and text messages. Then, he brought people to Huasiqian's house. Fortunately, Huamin was fine. Otherwise, he would hate him. He didn't know when it started. But protecting Huamin seemed to have become a responsibility and a habit of his. It was as if he felt that it was only right for him to protect her. Before falling asleep, Suyu held his phone and looked at the exclusive photo of Huamin that he had taken. It was a photo of Huamin when he was a doctor. He was wearing a white coat and black-rimmed glasses. Although he looked old-fashioned, in Suyu's eyes, he was very cute. Thinking back to the time he had known Huamin, she was the most interesting person he had met in the hospital. She was fierce, like a tigress, and taught Suyu a lesson. There's a saying that goes, "What is love? Everything has its vanquisher." Suyu felt that even if he was the king, he would still be defeated by Huamin. He leaned closer to the phone screen, closed his eyes, and gently kissed the lips of the girl in the photo. Then he gently muttered to himself, "Good night, Dr. Hua." On the way back, Only drove Suyu's Lamborghini to send Huamin back. He drove very slowly. Huamin sat in the passenger seat, thinking about something. Actually, I've never seen President Su fight so fiercely. Ever since he retired from the army, he hasn't shown his skills in such a high-profile manner, and said slowly, "It's the first time I've seen him like this. I'm so scared. If anything happens to him, how am I supposed to explain it to Lord Su and the others? I'm so scared. President Su will be fine. He's very strong." I thought President Su would single-handedly crush Huasiqian, but I didn't expect that guy to have some skills as well. Anyway, both of them didn't hold back in today's fight, and it was a satisfying fight. President Su is injured, but Huasiqian isn't any better. I can guarantee that he'll be more injured than President Su, no less. Huamin tilted his head and smiled at him. "You have so much confidence in Suyu." "Yeah, I admired him so much that I volunteered to be his bodyguard. Later, I realized that his character was more worthy of my respect. I'm also a retired Special Forces soldier. When I was a new recruit, he was already a legend in the military. Unfortunately, later what? Nothing, it's just a pity that President Su retired from the military so early. I thought he'd stay in the military for the rest of his life, just like Lord Su." Huamin knew very little about Suyu's past. He only knew that Suyu had been in the military for many years, but he didn't know what Suyu had experienced. Maybe it was because he didn't love him that he was never interested in his past. When they got home, the twins were already asleep. Yang Meirong sat in Huamin's room and looked at the twins. "Why did you come home so late?" "Oh, I was having so much fun that I forgot the time." "Did the twins fight?" "No, Pudding was a little naughty. She seems to be very sensitive. She kept looking left and right, but when she didn't see you in the room, she started crying. I held her and comforted her. It seems like Pudding is a little smart. Her EQ is even higher than Pudding's." Huamin laughed. "Mian, the day after tomorrow is your 1-month birthday party, right? How many people did you invite? Do I need to prepare anything for you?" Chapter 1770. Huamin thought for a while and nodded. Actually, there won't be many people. I don't have many friends, just a few. Mom, don't worry about me. Besides, we're still living in the Su family. How can we have a grand celebration like our own home? A small gathering is good enough. They're still young. There's no need to be so extravagant. Yang Meiyerong agreed with Huamin and nodded. That's good too. You're right. I didn't think too much. The Su family is already so good to you. We can't be too high profile. Huamin walked over and kissed the twins gently. Then, he went to bed. The day of the 1-month celebration arrived in the blink of an eye. Huamin and Suyu bought all the necessities in advance. That morning, Huamin, Mother Su, and his own mother led the Su family's nanny to dress up. They blew up all kinds of balloons and hung all kinds of decorations. It seemed easy, but it was not easy at all. However, everyone seemed to be looking forward to it and was very busy. Father Su and Master Lord Su had already arranged the time in advance. They were especially prepared to celebrate the twins' 1-month celebration at home. They were very fond of this day. Master Lord Su and Father Su each hugged one of the twins and played with them. From afar, it did not seem out of place. So he came home early too. He saw this scene as soon as he entered the house. Father Su lowered his head gently and whispered in the baby's ear. Baby, call Grandpa. Call Grandpa. Ahem. Dad, let me explain. 1-month-old babies don't know how to talk yet. Suyu pretended to cough to remind his father. Do not need you to tell me that. Father Su rolled his eyes at him. Suyu, I was just teasing the kids. You took it seriously. Your brain is getting dumber. Father Su reprimanded. Suyu, all right. Suyu felt that he was overthinking. His father and grandfather were so strict. How could their hearts melt when they saw the twins? Everyone in the Su family liked the twins. They were a pair of clowns. Grandpa, give me a hug. I haven't hugged enough. Why don't you ask your father for more? Master Lord Su declined politely. Dad, is that pudding or little bean in your arms? Let me hug them. Go away. Have you washed your hands? Do you know that your hands are full of bacteria? Moreover, you don't even know how to carry a child. Every time you carry a child, I see that the child is more uncomfortable than you. You should quickly stay away. With that, Mr. Su carried the baby and walked towards the window. Where was Suyu now? Extremely awkward? In the Su family, Suyu was actually despised by someone. There's no other way. Suyu got up and went upstairs. He saw Huamin standing on a stool hanging balloons at the door, and his heart immediately softened. How can I let you do such a thing? It doesn't matter. It's not high anyway. Huamin smiled. That won't do either. Come down, I'll do it. Before Huamin could say anything, Suyu forcefully pulled her down. Then, he stood on top of her. Everyone arrived one after another. When it was time for lunch, almost everyone was there. Is it almost time? I'll ask the kitchen to serve the food, Suyu asked. Wait a minute. There's still one person who's not here. Huamin said softly. Huh? Who's not here? Suyu looked around in confusion. Jiang Xiaowei, Wei Liao, Tang Chuan, and Ai Yang, Chun Jie, Gao Ran, Zhu Lingling, Rick. They were all here. And Cece isn't here yet. She'll probably be here soon. Huamin purposely glanced at Rick. When he heard Cece's name, his eyes flashed slightly. Chapter 1771. Upon hearing Cece's name, everyone immediately knew what was going on. Everyone had a tacit understanding and looked at Rick. He lowered his head and didn't say anything. Just then, Huamin received a WeChat message. She glanced at it and then looked up at Suyu. Cece's here. She's at the door. Go and receive her, or she won't be able to come in. Okay. Suyu nodded and immediately stood up. Rick also stood up slowly. Huamin, I have something else to do. I'll go now. I'll come see the babies another day. Rick, why are you hiding from Cece? Huamin asked directly, not at all bothered by the crowd. Rick, on the other hand, didn't expect Huamin to be so direct. I just think it's better not to see her in this situation. But, do you plan on avoiding her forever? Rick fell silent. Ahem, Mion, I think you shouldn't make it too hard for Rick. After all, it's not good for them to see each other right now. Zhu Lingling was a gossipy person. After finding out that Rick and Cece had broken up, she pitied the poor couple. Zhu Lingling thought that both of them needed time. Plus, she didn't know what was wrong with Huamin today. Why was she being so aggressive? I'm not making it hard for Rick. I just think it's better to solve some things face to face so that there won't be any regrets. Huamin replied word by word. Jiang Xiaowei looked at Huamin in surprise. She was curious about her behavior today, but after thinking about it, she knew what she wanted. Then, she smiled and said, Rick, Mion's right. If there's any misunderstanding, let's sit down and talk about it. Plus, the little princess's 1-month-old celebration is such a happy event. It's meaningless for you to leave like this. Let's sit down and have some fun. What do you think? Huamin and Jiang Xiaowei spoke at the same time. Rick, who wasn't good with words, had no choice but to sit down. Just then, Suyu walked in with Cece. Everyone greeted him warmly. Huamin walked over and held Cece's hand, letting her sit beside him. Although they were far away from each other, they were indeed face to face. They could see each other just by looking up. Cece wasn't surprised to see Rick, because she knew that this was the last chance that Huamin had painstakingly fought for her. She tried to smile at him, but Rick didn't even look up. Now that everyone is here, can we start eating? Huamin looked at Suyu. Suyu nodded and ordered the kitchen to serve the dishes immediately. Since many of them were not familiar with Lord Su, they were divided into 2 tables. The elders sat at one table, and the juniors sat at another table. Huamin and her friend sat at one table, while Mrs. Huamin and Mrs. Lord Su sat at the other table with their kids. This way, they wouldn't disturb each other. Huamin didn't have to take care of the kids, so he could chat with everyone. Tang Chuan and Zhu Lingling were both lively people. With them around, there would never be an awkward silence. However, Rick was the type of person who didn't talk at all. He didn't eat much, nor did he talk. He just sat there quietly. Cece kept looking at Rick, but he didn't look at her. Huamin saw how anxious Cece was. During the meal, Huamin stood up on purpose. Cece, come with me to the bathroom. Okay. Cece nodded and followed Huamin upstairs. Mian, what should I do? I feel like Rick doesn't want to talk to me. He won't even look at me. It's not that he doesn't want to look. He doesn't dare to. Huamin smiled. Do you have any ideas? Cece asked anxiously. Stay in my room and don't move. I'll think a way to get him to come up to you. The rest is up to you. Huamin said. Cece nodded and seemed to have made up her mind. Then, Huamin shouted from the second floor, Help! Cece fainted. As soon as he said that, Rick ran up the stairs at lightning speed. Chapter 1772. Huamin, where is she? Rick asked nervously. She's in my room. Go in and take a look. Huamin lied without thinking. Today, she finally realized how good she was at acting. Seeing Rick rush in, Huamin smiled proudly. When she went downstairs, everyone was dumbfounded. Dr. Hua, what's going on? Tang Chuan asked. Nothing. Eat your food. Huamin smiled. My wife was right. It seems like Goddess Hua is trying to set them up today. Wei Liao chuckled. Yes. Your wife is always right. She's the smartest. Then, Huamin added, Hey, you're slightly better. You taught her well. Huamin rarely joked around like this. Everyone burst into laughter. Wei Liao was a little embarrassed. Huamian sat down and picked up a piece of liangpi with her chopsticks. She was about to eat when Suyu slapped her chopsticks away. What do you mean? Huamin looked at Suyu in confusion. You're just out of confinement. Don't eat something so cold. Huamin was speechless. Everyone knew what was going on. Suyu had been gentle with Huamin for a long time. Everyone was used to it. Upstairs, in Huamin's bedroom, when Rick rushed in, he saw Cece standing there unharmed. Rick knew that Huamin had planned this. He was a little embarrassed. Just as he was about to leave, Cece called out to him. Rick, what's up? Do you really hate me so much that you want to leave as soon as you see me? Cece was a little heartbroken. I think we've made ourselves clear enough, haven't we? Rick replied calmly. Cece gathered her courage and walked over to Rick's side. Rick, I have to explain to you. I really didn't do it. I didn't betray Huamin on purpose. It really wasn't me. Rick didn't say anything and just kept silent. You don't believe me at all. Do you think I'm that despicable? You even betrayed your own friends? Cece questioned. There's no point in talking about this now, Cece. It really doesn't matter anymore, Rick said casually. Cece, on the other hand, was devastated. She walked up to Rick with tears in her eyes. But this is very important to me. It's the happiness of my life. Rick, I was wrong. I shouldn't have been so naive. I shouldn't have made the decision to look for Huamin. I almost killed her and the baby. I really didn't do it on purpose. Please don't be angry, okay? Like a child, Cece tugged at the corner of Rick's shirt and sobbed as she apologized. Cece, you don't have to apologize. It's not your fault. No, I know I was wrong. Rick, can we not break up? I really don't want to leave you. This is the first time I've loved someone so seriously. Cece abandoned her dignity as a girl and confessed her feelings to Rick. To be honest, Rick was struggling in his heart. He didn't want to drag an innocent girl like Cece down with him. He didn't want to waste her youth. He didn't want to be with her forever. Therefore, he bit the bullet and said, Cece, I think I've made myself clear. Let's not waste any more time. I still have things to do. I'll leave first. Then, Rick abruptly walked away, shaking off Cece's hand that was tugging at his shirt. Cece felt completely disheartened. When Rick was about to step out of the door, she couldn't help but cry and ask, Rick, tell me, have you ever loved me? Is our love a one-man show? Am I the only one who gets high? What am I to you? Trash? Can you throw me away just like that? Yes. Tell me. After hearing Cece's question, Rick felt a slight pain in his heart. Chapter 1773. Say something, don't run away. Cece yelled at Rick's back. Rick slowly turned around and looked at her with a complicated expression. In the end, he only said 5 words, Cece, I'm sorry. I don't need your apology. You didn't do anything wrong. Rick, I don't want to lose you. I really don't. Mion told me that you're going back to the States, and I haven't been sleeping well for the past few days. I keep having nightmares about you leaving me. I'm really sad. I feel like if I don't say it now, I won't have the chance to say it. I don't want to treat love as a lonely game between a man and a woman. I'm serious. I think you're the person I want to spend the rest of my life with. I don't care what your status is, what your background is. Rick, as long as you still want to be with me. Even if you're homeless, I won't abandon you. Really, please believe me, even though I'm young and don't have much experience, but I'm not a fickle person. I'm not a child. I know that love is something that lasts a lifetime. I really envy the love between Qin Shu and Huamin. They were childhood sweethearts and were together when they were young. After so many years, they can still be together. I really want to find a time machine and travel back in time to be with you. Cece said a lot of things in one breath. But Rick's expression didn't change. The truth was, even if Rick's heart was in turmoil, he would still look calm on the surface. Therefore, at this moment, no one could tell anything from his expression. Cece, Rick opened his mouth, but he didn't know what to say. Cece was a prideful person. She thought that Rick wanted to politely reject her, but he was too embarrassed to say it because he didn't want to hurt her. Therefore, in an instant, her heart sank to the bottom. It seems like you really don't care. Even if I confess to you like an idiot and bare my heart to you, you can still be so calm and indifferent. Actually, Rick was about to say something, but Cece interrupted him again. I understand. You don't have to say anything. I understand. Rick, no matter what, I still want to thank you. Then Cece walked up to him, stood on her tiptoes, and gently kissed Rick on the cheek. Bless you, goodbye. Then, before Rick could say anything, Cece turned around and ran away. Tears flew everywhere. She stumbled down the stairs and fell down at the top of the stairs. Huamin reacted quickly and immediately got up to help her. Cece, are you okay? Huamin looked at Cece. The moment she raised her head, her face was already covered in tears. Mion, thank you for giving me one last chance to see him. I have no regrets. After saying that, Cece ran away in a hurry, ignoring the wound on her hand. She opened the door and ran out. It looks like the negotiation has fallen through. Tang Chuan gossiped. Everyone looked at each other and didn't respond. At this moment, Huamin raised his head and saw Rick slowly walking down the stairs with a heavy heart. She's gone, Huamin said. Rick nodded, feeling extremely conflicted. Although this was clearly the result he wanted, he still felt mentally and physically exhausted after reaching this point. Especially when he saw Cece's tears. He almost couldn't take it anymore. Are you leaving now? Huamin looked at Rick calmly and asked. Rick nodded. Then I'll walk you out. I have something to talk to you about. After speaking, Huamin walked to the door and opened it. Rick silently followed behind him. TSK, this is a difficult situation. Do you think Dr. Ho can persuade him? I bet 1,000 yuan that he can. Who else wants to bet? Tang Chuan asked nosily. Chapter 1774. I bet 5,000 yuan that Huamin will win. Wei Liao laughed. Ahem, I'm all in. Huamin will win for sure. Gaoran was also full of confidence. You guys are so spineless. Why are you looking down on Rick? Is he that weak? How can he be fooled by Mian with just a few words? Zhu Lingling yelled. So, Mrs. Gao, are you betting on Rick to win? Tang Chuan laughed. Of course not. As Mian's best friend, I'll always support her unconditionally. Zhu Lingling laughed. Damn, I thought you were a spineless person, but you're still the same. Tang Chuan laughed. And Ai Yang and Chun Jie didn't say anything. They just watched the show. He was a bit calm, so he didn't mess around like Tang Chuan and the others. Where's Mian? Lord Su asked. Oh, she's seeing her friend out. She'll be back soon. You guys didn't get along. Is everything okay? The elders didn't know what happened. They just saw a girl crying and leaving. They thought something happened. It's fine. Don't worry. Huamin can handle it. Su was also confident. That's good. Then, Lord Su and the others continued to play with the baby, chat, and eat. Huamin and Rick strolled down the heavily guarded path in the Su family's manner. You've really decided? Rick tilted his head and looked at Huamin. You mean me and Cece? Who else? Huamin was obviously not happy. Maybe it's over. Rick sighed slightly. After being in China for so many years, he used Huamin's deep words perfectly. He even knew how to use the phrase over. I don't think so. I think it's up to us. We can't just blame everything that happens to us on fate. It's actually a form of escape. Rick didn't say anything. He felt that he was no match for Huamin in terms of language and intelligence. Therefore, he gave up resisting and allowed Huamin to judge. Rick, what do you think is the most precious thing in life? Huamin's question startled Rick slightly. Rick was at a loss for words. Huamin continued. Many people think that the most precious thing in a person's life is something they can't get or something they've already lost because they never had it. Then, Huamin glanced at Rick and said, But I think it's because humans are greedy and don't know how to be satisfied. In fact, the most important thing in life is to cherish what you have now. Unfortunately, many people don't realize it and only sigh after they lose it. Some people even think of the girl they loved when they were young, when their hair was white. Is that fun? Huamin, what are you trying to say? Just say it, Rick said quietly. Huamin looked at him helplessly and then sighed slightly. There are more than 6 billion people on Earth, and the chances of 2 people meeting and falling in love are very low. It's all about fate. It's not easy. Qin Shu and I have been separated for 7 years, and it's been a torture. The only thing I regret now is that I didn't spend more time with him. Now that I want to, I don't know if I'll have the chance. Rick, you can't lie to me. You still love Cece, but you don't think you can give her happiness. Leaving her is the best blessing for her. But don't you know that to Cece, having you by her side is her greatest happiness? Just like when Qin Shu was forced to divorce and was threatened by Hua Xiqian, he thought he was doing it for me. But in fact, in this world, the person I care about the most is Qin Shu. He thinks he's doing it for me, but he's not. At least, I'd rather die. I don't want to divorce him. I want to be Mrs. Qin for the rest of my life. Huamin. Rick was slightly moved. Rick, men and women are different. In love, men often think that if you love me, you won't leave. Women, on the other hand, think that if you love me, you'll come and find me. So in the end, you didn't ask her to stay, and she didn't turn back. Now, you just need to tell me, do you still love Cece? Chapter 1775. Rick hesitated for 3 seconds and then nodded. Yes. Then you should know what to do. Although you have a cold personality, you are definitely not cold-blooded and heartless. I believe that you will know what to do. As your friend, I sincerely hope that you don't miss out on a girl whom you deeply love and who loves you at the same time. After all, in this world, not all adoration will be passionately reciprocated, and not all deep feelings will not be disappointed. After Huo Min finished speaking, he turned around and left without even saying goodbye. However, Rick seemed to have understood something as he looked at Huo Min's back gratefully. Huo Min, thank you, he muttered to himself. On the way back, everyone was smiling at Huo Min. She was baffled by his actions. What are you guys laughing at? What's going on? Huo Min asked. Tell us first, how are you doing as a peacemaker? Did you convince Rick? Tang Chuan smiled mysteriously. Oh, that's hard to say. Rick is slow to warm up. Even if he understands what I say, it's hard to say how he'll carry it out. Damn. Don't you think you can handle it in a matter of minutes? I'm not the Virgin Mary. How can I be omnipotent? Huo Min rolled his eyes at Tang Chuan. Young Master Tang, how's the marriage going? Wei Liao smiled. No way, don't even think about it if you wanted to marry that damn fatty. Ha! Then when are we going to attend the wedding? Wei Liao teased him. God knows when it. That's soon. Isn't this the year of the monkey? If it's the year of the monkey, is the 7th of the 12 zodiacs in July? This July? Fuck you, it's already November, okay? Tang Chuan teased. The full moon celebration wasn't that grand, which was what Huo Min wanted. The little princess fell asleep after drinking milk. Huo Min sent his friends off one after another. When she came back, Suyu asked gently, Are you tired today? Not bad. Huo Min smiled. Then you should go to sleep. Otherwise, you won't have time to rest when they wake up in the afternoon. Pudding seems to be looking for you. She'll cry if she doesn't see you. Yes, eldest brother, you're a little smarter. It's amazing that you can recognize your mother within a month. Second brother, you're a little more obedient. Eat, sleep, eat, huh? At the mention of his daughters, Huo Min's eyes were filled with happiness. Go to sleep then. I'm going to the company. All right. Huo Min nodded. After taking a few steps, Suyu suddenly thought of something. He turned around and said, Don't worry, Huo Xiqian is under my watch. I won't let him do anything despicable. Also, if he finds any clues, we'll know immediately. If Qin Shu is really fine and Huo Xiqian finds out, we'll know too. Don't worry, I'll help you find him. Suyu cared too much about Huo Min, so he was able to see through her expression. Although Huo Min was happy today, she was still a little out of it. Suyu felt that Huo Xiqian's words gave Huo Min a glimmer of hope. Therefore, he was already helping her investigate. Suyu, you don't have to do this. You've been so good to me. I might not be able to repay you in this lifetime. I don't want you to repay me. I know, but I blame myself. I owe you too much, really too much. I'm afraid I can't bear it. No, you can, because your name is Huo Min. After speaking, Suyu turned around and left, leaving Huo Min behind. Worried, Su family mansion. As soon as Huo Min entered the house, he was called to the study by Lord Su. Master Lord Su, do you want me to play chess with you? Huo Min smiled. With his hands clasped behind his back, the old man looked at Huo Min solemnly and asked word by word, Min, if I win this time, will you agree to be Yu's wife? Huo Min's heart skipped a beat when he heard this. Chapter 1776. Huo Min never thought that Lord Su would suddenly say something like this, so he was very shocked. Lord Su, don't be in a hurry to answer. Let's play a game of chess first. Then, Lord Su sat down and began playing chess. Huo Min sat across from Lord Su and slowly played chess as well, but his mind was full of thoughts. Lord Su slowly picked up a chess piece and placed it down. Then, he slowly said, Min, actually what I said to you today is just my personal opinion. Yu's parents don't want me to say this because they want you to think that I, as an elder, am nosy and worrying for nothing. I don't think that way, Lord Su. Yu is the only grandson of the Su family, but we didn't spoil him. When he was young, we set up rules and regulations for him. Then, He joined the army for many years. He suffered a lot and went through a lot of hardships to achieve what he has today. The year he came back, he said that he wanted to start a company, and we were against it. I told him to think of his own way to start a company, and the Sioux family bank wouldn't give him a single cent. Guess what happened next? Lord Sioux looked at Huamin with a smile. Did he think of his own way to get investments? Huamin asked. You could say that he's not stupid. He looked at a few empty lots in the suburbs. He took out his retirement money from his years in the army, as well as his New Year's money and pocket money to buy a piece of land. In less than half a year, the government renovated and occupied the land, making him a few million. Then, he used it to invest in stocks, and in less than 2 months, it multiplied several times. When he had tens of millions in his hands, he started to register a company. He did everything himself, and when he was done, he got a loan from our bank to expand the company. In less than 5 years, the company became a leading enterprise, and this kid's net worth is now in the billions. Lord Sioux's tone was full of praise and pride. It was obvious that he loved his grandson and had always been proud of Suyu. Suyu, he does have a brain. Huamin nodded sincerely. When it comes to relationships, I rarely ask about them. After all, that's his private matter. That's why I didn't blame him when he was rumored to have an affair with a celebrity or spent the night with a model. He's young, after all. It's easy for him to be confused and impulsive. I thought it would be better if he calmed down. Then until you appeared. At this point, Master Lord Sioux raised his head and slowly put down a chess piece. Then, he looked at Huamin meaningfully. Huamin lowered his head and carefully dealt with Lord Sioux's ingenious setup. At the same time, he was contemplating the purpose of this conversation. Your appearance has completely changed him. Lord Sioux, I'm actually very sorry. I never wanted to change Suyu. I've always treated the people around me in my own way. Huamin explained patiently. It's precisely because of this that he was moved by you. You didn't care about his identity. You didn't try to curry favor with him. You didn't try to play hard to get. You didn't try to get close to him. You wanted something. That's why he saw your honest personality and was attracted to you. Lord Sioux, I'm not as good as you make me out to be. I'm also not as good as Suyu thinks. I have a lot of flaws, too. I also love the road. I'm also a little pretentious sometimes. When I see injustice, I'll act like a Mary Sue and pretend to be a saint. When I'm stressed, I'll throw a tantrum and look for trouble. The problem isn't that he likes you because you're good. It's that he thinks you're the best because he likes you. Master Lord Sioux's words left Huamin speechless. Mion, I know you're married, and I know something happened to your lover. Tell me the truth today. If your lover doesn't come back and really dies, are you willing to give you a chance? Master Lord Sioux asked very seriously. His eyes were filled with incomparable sincerity and anticipation. Chapter 1777. After a long silence, Huamin slowly opened his mouth. Master Lord Sioux, I'm sorry. I'm afraid my answer will disappoint you. What I wanted to say is that I believe that my lover is still alive. He'll come back for me, and I'll always wait for him. Even if he's really dead, I'll take care of the baby for the rest of my life. I won't remarry. My lover, Qin Shu, was the first man I fell in love with when I was young. He was my first love, and he's the only one I've ever loved. I don't want to cast a layer of dust on our relationship. I can't forget him, and if I marry Suyu out of gratitude or something else, I'll not only let myself down, but I'll also let Suyu down. He's such an excellent man, and he deserves a better woman who loves him wholeheartedly. He doesn't deserve a woman who loves him wholeheartedly. Master Lord Sioux, Suyu has been very good to me, and I'll always remember that. I'll never forget what the Sioux family has done for me. In the future, if the Sioux family ever needs me, I'll do anything for them, but I can't repay them with my own life. I'm really sorry. After Huamin finished speaking, he slowly put down the chess piece in his hand. Master Lord Sioux sighed. I lost again. You're too good at chess. It looks like I can't win against you. I'm really grateful that you told me all this today. Thank you for being so honest. No, Master Lord Sioux, please don't say that. I can't afford to accept that. Okay, I understand what you're trying to say. It looks like when I have time, I'll try to persuade my stupid grandson to stop doing stupid things. Master Lord Su stood up slightly. Master Lord Su, Huamin seemed like he wanted to say something. Silly girl, you don't have to say anything. Just stay here like before. We'll treat you the same as before. You're such a good child. I'm sure God won't be too harsh on you. Your lover will definitely come back, just as you wish. Master Lord Su looked at Huamin lovingly. It made her feel touched that she had not felt in a long time. Thank you, Lord Su. Thank you. After the discussion, Huamin returned to his room with a heavy heart. The Su family treated her so badly, but she still kept them at arm's length. Would he think that she was too hard-hearted? Mian, you don't look so good. Are you okay? Yang Meiyerong asked. I'm fine. I just didn't rest well. Let's sleep early today. Well, it just so happens that the two little fellows are asleep. You should rest early too. Huamin changed into his pajamas and walked over to the crib. Looking at the two babies sleeping soundly, his heart was filled with happiness. Zhao Mumu, you have to tell Daddy to come back soon. I really miss him. The next morning when Suyu came out of the company after the morning meeting and walked over and handed him the phone. President Su, Madam is calling. She seems to have something urgent to discuss with you. Okay, Suyu nodded. Call back. Mom, you're looking for me? I just finished my morning meeting. Son, come back and take a look. Mian, what's wrong with Huamin? Suyu is extremely nervous. Mian is moving out. She's packed her things and is leaving our house with the twins. No matter how I persuade her, it's useless. Come back and persuade her. Hurry up. Lady Su could tell that she was very anxious. I'll go back now. With that, Suyu picked up his jacket, got up, and went downstairs. He drove straight to the Su family's mansion. When he entered, Mian was already in the living room with her suitcase. Young master is back. The nanny shouted. Son, hurry up and persuade Huamian. Lady Su pulled Suyu's arm and walked over to Huamin. Chapter 1778. You're moving out? Suyu looked at Huamin, his tone as gentle as ever. Yeah. Huamin nodded sincerely. Then, I'll take you home. Lady Su was dumbfounded. She didn't expect her son to be on Huamin's side. Mom, let her go. We already agreed that she can't stay with us forever. Suyu smiled bitterly. Then he walked over to Huamin and picked up the suitcase in his hand. Then he walked out. Hey, how are we going to explain this to your grandfather? Mrs. Su was troubled. Mr. Lord Su really liked Huamian and the twins. Ever since Huamian gave birth, Mr. Su came home more often than before. The first thing he did when he came back was hug the twins. He spoiled them, doted on them, and coaxed them as if they were his granddaughters. I'll talk to Grandpa, Suyu replied. Annie Su, don't be sad. I'll come back to see you guys. I'm just moving back to my own home. It's not like I'm going far away. Huamin comforted Lady Su. Then I'll go with you. I'll take the maids with me and help you pack. Otherwise, there'll be too much stuff. In the end, Huamin couldn't persuade Mrs. Su, so he brought a large group of maids and a fleet of cars and moved out. Huamin hadn't come back to South Hill Manor for a year. It was exactly the same as before. Huamin didn't say much on the way back. He just looked out the window quietly. When they got home, Uncle Lee was shocked to see Huamin. His voice was filled with excitement. A young lady, Huamin nodded with a smile. You're really back? Yeah, I brought back 2 little guys. Huamin pointed at the kids in the maid's hands behind him. Those are babies. Uncle Lee was beyond excited. Too many things had happened this year. Huamin and Qin Chu had left one after another. This place had been empty for a whole year. Fortunately, Huamin had called Uncle Lee before and told them to work as usual. Their salaries would be credited to them directly. Now that the mistress had returned, the entire castle was in an uproar. It took a long time for everyone to settle down. Huamin asked the kitchen to prepare a sumptuous dinner for everyone. Before they left, Suyu asked her in private, what are your plans for the future? I've already applied to the U.S. headquarters to take back the management rights of the company. I'll start working at GK next week. So fast. Yeah, I can't stay here any longer. I feel like a useless person. Although I'm not good at business, it's Qin Chu's company. It's the blood and sweat of a Qin family. I have to protect it with all my heart. All right, I only have one request. What request? Huamin was slightly startled. I'll ask him to be your assistant and protect you every day. It's okay, I have bodyguards. Don't say no, it's decided then. I've already arranged for bodyguards. It's a token of my sincerity. Anyways, now that you're living here, you should be careful, seeing that Suyu had made up his mind. Huamin couldn't refuse. Okay then, thank you. Yeah, I'm going back now. Call me if you need anything. Okay. When Suyu walked out of South Hill Manor, his heart was heavy. He didn't want Huamin to leave, but he could understand Huamin's situation. Therefore, he reluctantly let her leave and fulfilled all of her wishes. Silly child, you must be sad, Mrs. Su asked. As long as she's happy, Suyu quietly replied. Spring went and autumn came. In the blink of an eye, 3 years had passed. Mommy, Qin Zhao Zhao stole my bunny. I'm so annoyed, come and see. A childish voice sounded. Huamin walked downstairs with a doting smile on his face. He looked at one of the girls. Pudding, are you bullying your sister again? Chapter 1779. That's because she's too stupid. She's not as smart as me, so she has to admit defeat. Pudding was very good at playing cards. Her tone was very arrogant. Humph. No way. We went for an IQ test a while ago, and my IQ was only 0. 2 points higher than yours. Even Grandma said I was the smarter one. Pudding pouted, obviously not convinced. Grandma was just comforting you. You don't even understand. Okay, stop fighting, you two. I'm having a headache. Pudding, give the bunny back to your sister, Huamian said. She has to admit defeat. She lost the cards. Huamian was obviously unwilling. Mom, I didn't lose. I suspect Pudding cheated. She secretly switched the cards. Handsome Sue must have taught her. Humph. I'm going to teach him next time he comes, but he won't even teach me. He's so biased. Am I not as pretty as Pudding? Huamin was dumbfounded. Huamian gave Suyu the nickname Handsome Sue because she was obsessed with looks. Therefore, when she could speak, she always called him Handsome Sue. In the beginning, Suyu wasn't used to it. He always thought the two little guys were rude, but after a while, he actually liked it. The two sisters often bickered over who Handsome Sue liked more. But Pudding was obviously a little weaker. Because of the two daughters, the eldest had a slightly higher IQ and IQ. She also had a cold personality and was very scheming. To put it bluntly, she was very much like Qin Shu. Pudding was also very smart, but she was a chatterbox, which was not like Huamin at all. She was more like Zhixin. Fortunately, Pudding was cute and often said golden words. She was the joy of the whole family. It doesn't matter if she's pretty or not. Handsome Sue doesn't look at women based on that standard. Otherwise, he wouldn't have fallen in love with Mommy back then. Qin Zhao Zhao, what do you mean by that? Huamin scolded with his arms crossed. Mommy, I'm just telling the truth. You're not that pretty. You're pretty at most, but Handsome Sue used to like you so much. He even let you live with him. TSK. Heaven and earth are our witnesses. The sun and the moon are our witnesses, Pudding said earnestly. Huamin, but don't worry, I'm just saying. Handsome Sue likes you, but it doesn't matter. You only have Daddy in your heart, right? You're still so young. Don't be so fond of him. Things between men and women aren't as simple as you make them out to be. Please, little ancestor, you're only 3 years old. Can you play happily like a normal child? How can I be like those ordinary people? Please, I'm the daughter of crazy geniuses Qin Shu and Huamin. His sister was in her tsundere mode again. Mommy said to keep a low profile. Sis, don't go overboard. Little Bean reminded her kindly. At this moment, his phone rang. Hello? President Hua, there's a video conference at the headquarters in an hour. Okay, I'll be there right away. I have to go to the company. You two have to listen to Grandma at home. Also, don't run around. Don't tease Grandpa, Lee, and the others. Okay? Can we ask Handsome Sue to come and keep us company if we're bored? Little Bean asked innocently. No, Uncle Sue is very busy. Huamin glared at her. Okay. Then hurry up and go. We'll listen to you. The two little guys seemed to have gotten used to Huamin being busy, putting, "Don't bully your little sister when mommy isn't home," or else. Huamin didn't forget to remind them. Chapter 1780. I know. Pudding responded like a little adult. Huamin smiled knowingly and walked out of the manor. 3 years ago, when Huamin moved back to South Hill Manor, he applied to the American headquarters to take back GK's management rights. At the time, he thought the process would be troublesome, but who knew that the application would be approved with just one application. From then on, Huamin became the true president of GK. In the past 3 years, GK continued to grow. Aside from being grateful to Su Yu for helping him, he stopped working in the film and television industry. GK was one of the best in almost all other industries. In the real estate industry, even the up-and-coming Huo Corporation couldn't compare. In the past 3 years, he often bumped into Hua Xiqian in the business world, but they never cooperated or talked much. Hua Xiqian's people had been looking for opportunities to make a move on Huamin and the twins, but they never had the chance. Only then did Huamin understand why Su Yu insisted on having him follow her when they moved out. Xiaoen's skills were indeed terrifying. It was an exaggeration to say that he could fight against 100 people alone. His marksmanship was 100% accurate, and he didn't waste a single bullet. Moreover, he was very careful. With him by his side, Hua Xiqian couldn't do anything to him. The most impressive time was when Hua Xiqian personally led his men to intercept Huamin. In a head-on confrontation, and only injured his arm, but Hua Xiqian had 4 knife wounds in his abdomen and had to recuperate for more than a month. Since then, he seemed to have restrained himself a lot. The twins were 3 years old, but they never went to kindergarten. Because he was afraid that it was unsafe, Huamin hired a teacher to teach them at home. At such a young age, they could speak 7 languages. They were proficient in the 4 books and 5 classics. They even finished all 9 years of compulsory education in elementary and middle school. IQ testing experts had evaluated that although the twins were only 3 years old, they had the IQ and mentality of 12-year-old children. They were talented and smart. Unlike ordinary people, when Huamian did her measurements, her result was 138 points, which shocked everyone. Right now, the twins' score of 145 was enough to make everyone around them gasp in amazement. In Zhu Lingling's words, it was the product of Qin Shu and Huamin. This was going against the natural order. Jiang Xiaowei's son, Wei Yinshu, was a few months older than them, but he didn't have such a high IQ. Jiang Xiaowei and Wei Liao were envious of Wei Yinshu. They had been helping Wei Yinshu develop his intelligence when Huamin walked out and was already waiting in the driver's seat of the Audi R8. The Audi R8 was actually only worth a little more than 1 million, less than 2 million. It was not outstanding among the luxury cars. However, it was Huamin's favorite because it was the first luxury car that Qin Shu had given her. She missed Qin Shu. She missed him all the time. 3 years had passed, and there was still no news from Qin Shu. However, Huamin missed him more and more. "President Hua, you don't look so good. Have you not been sleeping well?" And asked. "Maybe I'm too tired." Huamin massaged his temples. The ginseng that President Su sent over is said to improve your eyesight and rejuvenate your mind. Why don't you ask the nanny to make some for you? I'll tell you later. And I've been by Huamin's side for 3 years. In the beginning, he was quiet, but now he could get along with Huamin like they were friends, and had saved Huamin's life many times. So she knew that it wasn't just a simple assistant by Su Yu's side. He was actually an extremely skilled bodyguard. It was just that no one knew about him. When Huamin arrived at the company, he went straight to the executive meeting room and began talking to the headquarters. When he came out, it was already 3 p.m. "President Hua, you have a meeting with President Yu of Wanhe at 8:30 p.m. Do you want to go personally, or do you want Supervisor Jing to go?" Bella walked over with some documents. Chapter 1781. Bella became Huamin's first secretary and Qin Shu's former assistant. Young, was now the CEO of the company. He was in charge of all the company's affairs and had a lot of power. Too many things had changed in 3 years, including Hua Min's lifestyle. She went from an excellent doctor to a valiant female CEO, attending small meetings and all sorts of events. She received many outstanding awards. Before Hua Min could reply, Jixin walked over. "Sis, I'll go to dinner for you tonight. You should go home and rest early." Jixin was wearing a black suit. He no longer looked as immature and reckless as he used to be. Instead, he looked like a white-collar worker. Jixin had returned to China a year ago. After he finished his studies, he had been helping Hua Min at GK. He worked in the most difficult and complicated marketing department and was only a small manager because Hua Min wanted him to start from the bottom. "It's okay. President Yu is a little difficult to deal with. I'm afraid you won't be able to handle him. I'll go myself." Then, Hua Min walked towards his office. "Sis, it's my niece's 3rd birthday in 3 days. Have you prepared everything?" "Yes." "Then, did you see the invitation list?" "I didn't. Suyu did it." "Oh, then I'll go talk to Big Brother Suyu. A few of our business partners heard about it and insisted on coming. They've told me a few times and asked me to bring a few invitations. I want to use this opportunity to get on their good side." Jixin smiled. "Then you should talk to Suyu. He's always been in charge of this." Hua Min wanted to keep the little princess's 3rd birthday low-key. However, the Su family strongly objected. Lord Su, Mr. Su, and Suyu objected. In the end, Hua Min gave in. Suyu took out the gift he gave to the twins, a luxury cruise ship worth over 100 million yuan. He was going to celebrate an unforgettable birthday for the twins on the ocean. It looked like the whole world was celebrating. In the end, Hua Min had no choice but to agree. However, because the company was too busy, Suyu and Imperial Star's PR team were in charge of everything. She didn't ask much about it. There were only 3 days left. Time flew by so quickly. Imperial Star headquarters. Suyu sat in his office and looked at the invitation list for the cruise ship dinner party. The twins' birthday party was even grander than Imperial Star's anniversary celebration. Even someone like Grandpa, Su, would be there in person. It could be said that it was a gathering of the top celebrities. Invitations were hard to come by, and many entrepreneurs who wanted to curry favor with Hua Min and Suyu were willing to spend a fortune to buy them. "Just wanted a chance to get on board the cruise ship. Your Highness, your Highnesses, I means' jewelry store. SSS means S office." The female employee in the lead wore white gloves and held a square black velvet box in her hands. "President Su, the ring you ordered, Angel's Smile, has arrived." Suyu took the box and slowly opened it. Inside was a sparkling diamond ring. The diamond was pink and was about 122 carats. It was found in South Africa, and it was the best-preserved pink diamond in the world. Suyu bought it at an auction last year for more than 6 billion yuan. After he bought it, he secretly took it to a top-notch factory and spent a year polishing it into the only diamond in the world, Angel's Smile. The design of the ring was a little angel with wings and a warm smile. The pink diamond was the hem of the angel's dress. It was very cute. The craftsmanship was also very complicated and difficult to make. He planned to propose to Hua Min in front of the whole world at the dinner party in 3 days. "President Su, are you satisfied with the ring?" the employee asked carefully. Suyu looked at the ring gently and didn't say anything for a long time. Chapter 1782. MHM, I'm satisfied. Suyu nodded, trying his best to suppress the excitement in his heart. After the employee left, Suyu held the ring in his hand and couldn't bear to put it down. 3 years ago, Tang Chuan unintentionally suggested a ridiculous idea that Suyu took to heart. For the past 3 years, he carefully took care of Hua Min and the twins. He maintained a perfect, non-awkward distance from them. 3 years passed in the blink of an eye, but his love for Hua Min only increased. Everyone in the Su family understood his feelings, and no one forced him to go on blind dates or get married. They quietly watched him enjoy the most peaceful and gentle time with Hua Min and the twins. 3 days later, it was the twins' 3rd birthday party. He wanted to announce to the world that he loved Huamin. He wanted to take Huamin as his wife and hold her hand until they grow old together. For the past 3 years, he followed Huasiqian's subordinates, but he didn't find anything. So you thought that maybe Chu really wasn't in this world anymore. Otherwise, why wouldn't he show up for 3 years? If that was the case, then it was time for him to be a man and propose to the woman he loved. Even if Huamin rejected him, he wouldn't regret it. He had to at least give it a try, right? Suyu had never been so nervous. When he held the ring, he felt as if his heart was going to jump out of his chest. GK headquarters, President Hua. I heard that. Huasiqian also got an invitation. Although we didn't invite him, he seems determined to come. What should we do? Should we ask security to stop him? Bella asked worriedly. No, let him do it, but President Bella was worried that he would cause trouble. Let him do it. I want to see how he can't do anything to me, no matter how many ideas he has. He's on our turf, so why should we be afraid of him? Huamin sneered. When Huamin moved out of the Su family's house, Huasiqian was extremely excited. He thought that without the Su family's protection, Huamin wouldn't be able to withstand a single blow. However, he didn't expect Huamin to be so smart that he fought with him for 3 years. Not only was he unable to do anything to Huamin, but he also lost to Huamin's business competition. The Huasiqian's Hua Corporation's entertainment business as well. Huasiqian's real estate and jewelry businesses to Huamin's Huatu's twos to Huamin's twos to Huamin's two. Huasiqian had tried so many times and failed, of course, and was the biggest contributor. He was like a godlike bodyguard. Huamin was grateful that Su Yu sent such an excellent bodyguard to her. Okay, I'll do as you say. Bella, is there any news from HQ in the States? Will they send more people over? I don't know. I heard that they're still waiting for Mr. Nick's decision. I don't think there's much hope. President Hua, I know. I've prepared everything. If they come, I'll welcome them. If they don't, I'll take them with open arms. Huamin chuckled. 3 days passed in a flash. 3 days later, at 6 p.m. on October 26th, the Princess cruise ship was ablaze with lights, and the most important people in the city gathered there. It wasn't a business meeting or a superstar performance. It was a celebration for the twins' 3rd birthday. Imperial Star even bought out the rights to stream the event live on a certain platform. 5 minutes after the event started, more than 8 million people watched the live stream. It was an unprecedented scene. Wow, I think I saw an Ayang Appa. Look, is that him walking down the red carpet? A fan commented. It really is him. An Ayang Appa. I love you. I don't like an Ayang, I like Suyu. I heard that he personally designed tonight's event. He's handsome, rich, and romantic. Wow, he's my ideal husband. I want to see my Mion. It's been 3 years, and she's become a successful career woman. She's so inspiring. Good luck. We're the twins. I want to see them. Put a little bean. I'm her biggest fan. Ha ha. I heard that these two are geniuses. Inside the luxurious changing room on the cruise ship, President Hua, are you ready? It's your turn. Bella pushed open the door. Huamin stood up and looked back with a smile on his face. Even as a woman, Bella was stunned. President Hua. Chapter 1783. Huamin was wearing an off-shoulder dress that showed off her figure. It was aqua blue. The dress was covered with a light blue chiffon that was gold and purple, and the hem of the dress was faintly discernible. In the past 3 years, her shoulder-length hair had grown longer. Now, she had braided her hair, and it fell over her left shoulder. It was very sexy. The most amazing thing was that Huamin, who usually dressed casually, was wearing very heavy makeup tonight. It was exquisite, beautiful, and gorgeous. She also wore a pair of aqua blue contact lenses. Bella felt like she had seen this outfit before. President Hua, what are you doing? Pudding and Lil Bean really like Princess Elsa from Frozen, so I imitated her. Isn't it ugly? Huamin smiled. No. It's really beautiful. Oh my god. I was wondering why it looks so familiar. You really are cosplaying Princess Elsa. President Hua, I never knew you could look so beautiful when you're dressed up. Bella was very steady in her work. She would never exaggerate or flatter others. Therefore, her compliments were 100% sincere. Huamin only smiled slightly and walked over slowly. Bella carefully helped her walk out. When Huamin walked down the red carpet, she held the twins' hands, one on each side. The two little princesses were wearing white princess dresses, crowns on their heads, and magic wands in their hands. They looked very beautiful. Pudding and Little Bean were very beautiful, and they were indeed like their father. Huamin wasn't that stunning. "Mommy, you look beautiful today," Little Bean praised with a smile. "Mommy has always been this beautiful, okay?" Pudding was still proud. With a smile, Huamin carefully held their hands and walked down the red carpet step by step. At this moment, everyone's attention was on them. In the middle of the stage, Suyu was wearing a white suit. When he saw Huamin and the twins walk back, his heart raced. The netizens watching the live stream were also confused. This was the first time in 3 years that Huamin had appeared with the twins in such a high-profile manner. Hua Xiqian looked at her from afar, and his gaze gradually softened. "She's still so beautiful. In my heart, she'll always be so beautiful," Hua Xiqian said gently as he held a glass of champagne. When Huamin walked to the middle of the stage, Bella handed him the microphone. Huamin picked up the microphone and looked around the room. "Thank you, everyone, for coming to my daughter's 3rd birthday party. I hope you have a good time." Huamin didn't make any long-winded remarks, nor did he flaunt or stir up emotions. Huamin spoke very sincerely. Then, the celebrity performance mode was activated. All the top superstars of Imperial Star were present. The opening dance was Enai Yang's mechanical dance, and the music was particularly high. The entire stadium exploded with passion. More than 1,000 guests on the cruise were gathered here to watch the performance. Huamin, the twins, the Su family, and his parents sat at the first main table. Zhu Lingling, Jiang Xiaowei, and Tang Chuan sat at the table next to Huamin's. The twins surrounded Grandpa Su and tried their best to coax the old man, making him very happy. Because Lord Su was present, the security on the cruise was extremely tight, and the special forces disguised as plain clothes were protecting him at all times. This kid is so thoughtful. It's just a kid's birthday party. Why did he make it so grand?" Yang Meiyurong chatted with Lady Su with a smile. "He's always been so high-profile," Lady Su replied with a smile. Tang Chuan sat next to Su Yu and quietly whispered into his ear, "Is everything ready?" "Yeah." Su Yu nodded, slightly nervous. "Let me tell you, in a bit, after the twins finish singing and performing, you should immediately go up and propose to them in front of everyone. I think Huamin won't reject you. The chances of success are very high. With so many people here, Huamin is a smart person. He won't make you feel awkward." Tang Chuan patted Su Yu's shoulder encouragingly. Chapter 1784. Su Yu bit his lip and didn't say anything. To be honest, he thought that the chances of success were pretty high. 3 years had passed, and Huamin should have let go of everything that happened in the past. After all, Qin Shu was a person of memories. In the past 3 years, almost no one had mentioned Qin Shu's name in front of Huamin. Actually, I didn't want to force her. If she didn't reject me because she didn't want to embarrass me, then I'd be pretty disappointed. Please, Lord Su, can you not be so pretentious? In this situation, you just need to ask Huamin to accept your proposal. Why do you care what her intentions are? Don't be so pretentious, okay? Plus, she'll fall in love with you sooner or later after you guys get married. I think the twins already treat you like their father. Upon hearing this, Su Yu felt a sense of happiness rise up in his heart. He had a good relationship with the twins, and he really did treat them like his own daughters. Tang Chuan was right. Even if he was being selfish this time and made Huamin feel bad about rejecting him in front of everyone, then he might very well succeed in his proposal. After the twins' birthday party, they would continue to prepare for their wedding. Su Yu never thought that happiness would be so close to him one day. Other than Huamin, everyone else knew about Su Yu's proposal. Zhu Lingling and Jiang Xiaowei were also cheering for Su Yu. "Lord Su, don't be nervous. Do your best." Zhu Lingling smiled. We'll witness this sacred moment together. Jiang Xiaowei held Wei Yunshu in her arms. Mommy, what are you guys talking about? What sacred moment? The little boy looked up and asked Jiang Xiaowei. You'll find out soon. Uncle Su is going to defy the heavens tonight. Jiang Xiaowei pinched her son's cheek and smiled. Huomin sat next to Yang Meirong and watched the performance in the center of the stage. Suddenly, his mind wandered. He didn't know what was wrong with him today, but when he woke up in the morning, his left eyelid started twitching violently. Then, he began to feel uneasy, as if something was about to happen. He hadn't had such a feeling in a long time. What's wrong, Mian? Her mother noticed that something was wrong. Maybe I'm a little seasick. I'll go get some fresh air. Mom, help me look after Pudding and Little Bean. All right, go and rest. After Huomin finished speaking, he stood up and walked towards the door. President Hua, are you okay? Bella followed him and carefully helped Huomin up. Huomin shook his head. President Hua, the U.S. headquarters just sent a notice saying that Mr. Nick has arrived. He's here. Huomin was slightly surprised. Yeah, they said that he's already on the ship. No way. What the hell? Why didn't they tell us earlier? Even if he's the president of the U.S. headquarters, he can't be so willful. Huomin was speechless. Mr. Nick was the newly appointed president of the U.S. headquarters. He kept saying that he wanted to come to China for an inspection. He mentioned it a few times, but nothing happened. Now, it was the twins' birthday, and he had already secretly boarded the ship. Who was he? Where is he now? I've already arranged for him to be in the lounge of the first-class cabin. You can go there and greet him. Let's go. Huomin rubbed his temples, still feeling a little dizzy. She walked all the way to the first-class cabin with Bella, but there was no one there. Where is he? Oh, Mr. Nick went to the main hall and said that he wanted to watch the performance. Damn. Huomin was immediately pissed. I'm sorry, President Hua, it's my fault. I'll go look for him. It's okay. Let him watch the performance if he wants to. I'm a little dizzy, so I'll go get some fresh air on the deck. I'll be back in a bit. Huomin waved her hand and sent Bella away. She slowly walked onto the deck with a glass of red wine in her hand at this time. Everyone was watching the performance, so it was very quiet. She looked at the sea in the distance, listened to the sound of the waves, and felt the sea breeze. Then she took a small sip of red wine. Her heart started to beat faster and faster, as if it was going to jump out of her chest. Huomin reached out and pressed her left chest. Why is this happening? What's wrong with me? She muttered to herself. She couldn't even hold the glass of red wine in her hand, and it fell to the floor. Just then, a black shadow flashed behind her. A pair of fair and slender hands gracefully caught the glass of red wine. Honey, long time no see. A familiar voice that she hadn't heard in a long time sounded in her ears. Huomin raised her head abruptly, and when she saw that familiar face, she felt as if all the blood in her body had frozen. Chapter 1785. Huomin stared at the man in front of her, unable to believe that all of this was real. Looking at his familiar face and gentle smile at such a close distance, Huomin felt as if a lifetime had passed. Mian, it's really me. It's not a dream. Qin Shu spoke again. His voice was still as magnetic as before. His voice was unbelievably soft, as if he was afraid that he would scare Huomin if he spoke a little louder. In that instant, Huomin turned around. Without saying anything, she threw herself into Qin Shu's arms. Tears flowed out before she could say anything. Tears flowed down her cheeks, quietly, without a single sound. Huomin didn't say anything. She just hugged Qin Shu tightly, her hands tightly gripping his black shirt. It was as if she was afraid that in the next moment he would disappear into thin air. Qin Shu seemed to understand Huomin's feelings. He didn't say anything and just hugged her tightly. He slowly warmed her and melted her. No one knew how long Huomin had been waiting for this moment in her heart. She had imagined this scene countless times, but it wasn't as thrilling as this moment. It was even more intense than the first reunion after 7 years during a class reunion. In the end, Qin Shu couldn't hold it in anymore. He cupped Huomin's delicate face in his hands. He gently looked in her eyes. "Mian, I'm sorry for making you wait." After speaking, Mr. Chin slowly kissed her. The moment their lips touched, she felt as if the sky and earth were spinning. Huamin greedily sniffed Chin Chu's unique and familiar scent, feeling the warmth of his cool lips. Her hands were still tightly hugging him, unwilling to let go. Then it was a passionate response. This kiss of reunion after a long separation, from the initial gentleness to the later tempestuous, domineering invasion, and then to gentleness, and then to exhaustion. It felt as if a century had passed. Inside the main hall, where's Huamin? Zhu Lingling looked around, but didn't see Huamin. She was very curious. He was here just now. Maybe he went out. Gao Ran put his arm around Zhu Lingling's shoulder. Zhu Lingling had just given birth to her son, Gao Buiyuan, in April. Now, the child was only 7 months old. Zhu Lingling planned to bring Gao Buiyuan to Guning's house today, but Gao Buiyuan liked to sleep too much, so Zhu Lingling decided to send him to Guning's house. The twins' performance is over. Lord Su, you should find Huamin first. After all, she's the female lead, Tang Chuan reminded him. All right, I'll go get her now. Suyu was still unable to suppress the excitement and nervousness in his heart. For the entire night, he was in a trance, as if something big was about to happen. When Suyu went up to the deck, he saw Huamin standing there and was about to go forward. He stopped in his tracks, because he saw Huamin tightly hugging someone, a man, and that man was, after Suyu saw clearly, he took 2 steps back and didn't go forward to disturb them. That person was actually Chin Chu. Including the time Huamin was pregnant, it had been almost 4 years. Chin Chu actually came back quietly. On the night that he was about to propose to Huamin, Suyu felt as if his heart had been hammered by something. He subconsciously reached into his trouser pocket and took out the brocade box. At this moment, when he looked at it again, he felt that it was extremely ironic. He lowered his head and gently stroked the brocade box. Good thing I didn't have time to say it. Otherwise, Mian wouldn't be the only one embarrassed. Suyu smiled bitterly. He clearly saw Chin Chu and Huamian's passionate kiss after not seeing each other for so long. He felt as if something in his heart was disintegrating bit by bit into pieces. He seemed to hear the sound of glass shattering. It seemed like everything was fate. Huamin was not destined to be his woman. When Suyu returned to the hall in a daze, his expression was extremely ugly, and he didn't say a word. What happened to Lord Su? You didn't find him? Wei Liao looked up and asked him. Chapter 1786. We'll go look for him for you, or you can ask the TV station to broadcast it over the radio. Ha! Huamin can't be far. Tang Chuan laughed. Lord Su, did something happen? Xiao Xiao, a psychologist, didn't miss the terrible look on Suyu's face when he came back. Suyu slowly raised his head, his face turning paler and paler. He's back. Who's back? Everyone was confused when they heard this. Chin Chu's back. Suyu didn't know how much courage it took for him to say these 4 words. But as soon as he said these words, he felt like all the strength in his body had left him. Everyone who was present was completely shocked. Zhu Lingling and Gao Ran were dumbfounded. Wei Liao and Jiang Xiaowei were shocked. And Ai Yang and Chun Jie didn't say anything. They looked at each other and seemed to be panicking as well. Tang Chuan knocked the cup in his hand to the ground, completely dumbfounded. Lord Su, ha ha ha, are you kidding me? Don't mess around. Tang Chuan still thought that this was Su Yu's prank. You'll see him soon. Chin Chu's back. Then what are you? For the first time, Wei Liao felt bad for his best friend since childhood. No matter what Tang Chuan said before, or if he wanted to defend Su Yu, Wei Liao never said anything. But this time, he felt bad for his friend. He didn't come back sooner or later, but he came back just as Su Yu was about to propose, and Chin Chu came back. Was he playing with him on purpose? For the first time, Wei Liao felt that the fearless Lord Su was so pitiful. If he missed this opportunity, then he might never be able to have Huamian again. He really didn't have another chance. 3 years of companionship is nothing compared to Chin Chu's warm hug. I, Su Yu, am willing to accept defeat. I'll retire with honor. It seems like losing to Chin Chu was destined from the beginning. Su Yu looked up and smiled awkwardly. Such a forced smile made everyone's heart twitch. Young Master Su, I feel bad for you. It's been 3 years. Even if you raise a dog, you'll still have feelings for it, let alone a human. Huo Mian doesn't have a heart, can't you see? Now, her husband is back, and she's going to live a happy and sweet life. What about you? What will you do? HM? No, I'm going to ask Hua. Tang Chuan was very straightforward, so when he saw Su Yu's face, he became furious. She got up and was about to leave. However, Su Yu grabbed onto the corner of his shirt. Come back. Lord Su, sit down. Su Yu was furious as well, so he yelled at Huo Mian. It attracted the attention of the people around them. In the middle of the stage, the twins were still singing the English version of Frozen's theme song, Let It Go. The two little guys sang in 7 different languages, and the tune was very accurate, which made everyone present extremely shocked. Su Yu pulled Tang Chuan to sit down and looked around at everyone. Then he slowly said, I'm still willing to eat fish even when a fishbone is stuck in my throat. I've been bitten by dogs and scratched by cats, but I still love animals. Even when I had a mouth full of cavities, I still loved sweets as much as my life. Even though Huo Min rejected me, I was still willing to cross mountains and rivers just to see her. The reason is the same. I love her, so I'm willing. Lord Su. Jiang Xiaowei seemed like she wanted to persuade him. Su Yu reached out and interrupted Jiang Xiaowei. Everyone knew that Su Yu had more to say, so they listened quietly. Chapter 1787. I know what you guys want to say. You don't have to persuade me. The truth is, I'm very grateful that Chin Chu came back at this time. Otherwise, if he came back after my proposal, I would be even more pissed off. I would feel like something that belonged to me was taken away from me. Haha, right now, I'm just returning something that I've taken from someone else for too long. Also, you guys need to know that Huo Min didn't do anything wrong. She never accepted me. She never gave me hope, and there's nothing between us. Everything is just my wishful thinking. So, please don't blame her and continue to burden her. Thank you guys. I need some time alone. I'll leave the rest to you guys. After speaking, Su Yu took off his white jacket, got up, and left. All that was left was a deep sense of sadness. It was a good thing that Chin Chu came back, but everyone fell in a heart-wrenching pain because of Su Yu. Su Yu's words shut everyone's mouths, leaving them speechless. Looking at Su Yu's back as he left, Zhu Lingling wanted to cry for a moment. Honey, Mr. Qin is back. We should be happy. Why do I still feel so sad? Gao Ren didn't say anything. He just hugged Zhu Lingling tightly and let her lean on his shoulder. The boy in Jiang Xiaowei's arms looked up and asked curiously, Mommy, what's wrong with Uncle Su? He's a little sad. I'll go check on him. Tang Chuan got up and was about to leave, but Wei Liao stopped him. Don't disturb him at a time like this. Let him be alone. Upon hearing Wei Liao's words, Tang Chuan stopped in his tracks. On the deck, Huo Min and Chin Chu didn't let go of each other until they couldn't breathe. Then, as soon as Chin Chu regained his balance, Huo Min went up and slapped him across the face. The sound of the slap was loud and clear, but it was merciless. Chin Chu wasn't surprised at all, and he accepted it calmly. One isn't enough? Keep fighting. This is what I deserve. Chin Chu grabbed Huo Min's hand and continued to place it on his face. Then, he picked up her hand and slapped it hard on his face. However, Huo Min did not have the heart to continue hitting him. It's been 4 years. You made me wait for so long. I'm sorry. Chin Chu apologized gently. I don't want to apologize. I want to explain. Don't tell me you lost your memory. I won't accept such a low answer. Huo Min stared at Chin Chu and asked in a choked voice. Chin Chu smiled and reached out his hand to brush away the hair on her forehead. He replied gently, I didn't lose my memory. I've been paying attention to you for the past 4 years. Then why didn't you come back? Did you do it on purpose? Or did you find someone else? Hua Mian was jealous. At this moment, she was no longer the calm and quick-witted female genius who didn't panic in the face of danger. She was just the jealous, domineering, and cute girl in front of her lover. No, I didn't. There are two reasons why I didn't come back. First, I've been secretly investigating Hua Xiqian's overseas forces. The waters are deep. I'll explain it to you slowly. What about the second reason? Hua Min was filled with anger. She looked at Qin Shu with love and hate. The second reason is that when I crashed, I injured my leg and injured my kneecap. You're a doctor, so I don't need to tell you how sensitive this is. It would be better if it was the bone, but the kneecap can't be regrown. There's new technology in the States, so I tried it. At first, I could only walk with crutches, but now I've spent almost 4 years recuperating. Unfortunately, I still haven't fully recovered, and there's still some effects. So, right now, I'm basically a cripple. I wanted to come back after I fully recovered because I didn't want you to worry, but it's too long. I feel like if I wait any longer, I'll go crazy from missing you. So, Mian, do you dislike the imperfect me? After hearing Qin Shu's words, Hua Min froze on the spot. Dumbfounded, she never would have thought that because of this she and Qin Shu missed out on 4 whole years. What if I say that I dislike it? Hua Min quietly looked at Qin Shu and asked, then you can pretend that I never came back and continue living the life you're living now. Qin Shu still looked at her gently. Hua Min's expression changed slightly upon hearing this. Chapter 1788. Qin Shu, do you even have a conscience? How could you abandon me at a time like this? Hua Min couldn't hold it in anymore. She pounded on Qin Shu's shoulder as tears streamed down her face. She knew that she didn't need to hide her emotions in front of Qin Shu. She just needed to be her true self. Only in front of Qin Shu was she not a filial daughter, not a warm sister, not a loving mother, not the powerful President Hua, not the genius Dr. Hua. She was only the little girl Hua Min. Qin Shu hugged Hua Min again. He gently kissed her forehead and doted on her. He knew that she had gone through a lot, and she knew that he had gone through a lot. Honey, don't leave me again. I don't care how disabled you are. Even if you're half dead, you have to stay with me. Hua Min hugged Qin Shu's broad waist tightly and said in a coquettish tone, I won't leave you again. Next time, unless it's life or death, nothing will separate us. Hua Min looked up at him and said in all seriousness, even if it's life or death, if you dare to make decisions on your own again, then I won't live anymore. I'll leave your poor daughters to live alone in this world. Qin Shu's eyes were filled with warmth at the mention of his 2 cute daughters. Thank you, honey, for giving birth to my little princess. PSH, why don't you suspect that the kids are Suyu's? Hua Min pushed him on purpose to piss him off. To her surprise, Mr. Qin proudly replied, Suyu isn't that handsome to have such beautiful daughters. After hearing Mr. Qin's words, Hua Min didn't know whether to laugh or cry. That arrogant Mr. Qin was back. Even though he was late by 4 years, but at this moment, Hua Min didn't care about that anymore. She just wanted to cherish every moment she had with Qin Shu. President Hua, the little princesses have finished their performance. It's your turn to give a speech. And then, Hua Min's secretary, Bella, walked up to the deck. Before she could finish her sentence, she was dumbfounded. She was shocked by the sight of Qin Shu. Qin? President Qin. Oh my God. Bella had always been a calm person and rarely made such a fuss. Qin Shu smiled and nodded. President Qin, is that really you? Bella wasn't sure. It's me. Oh my God. Oh my God. President Qin is back. Oh my God. Bella was in a mess. Hua Min held Qin Shu's hand and smiled slightly. So, can Mr. Qin accompany me to the curtain call? That's not a problem, but is it really okay for you to hold your boss's hand like this? Qin Shu smiled. My boss? What do you mean? Hua Min froze for a second before he realized what Qin Shu meant. He looked at Qin Shu in surprise. You're not. Nick, are you? It seems like you're not that dumb. I thought your IQ would plummet after you gave birth to our daughter. Qin Shu reached out his finger and flicked Hua Min's head lovingly. Bella froze again upon hearing what happened, Mr. Nick, the new president of GK's American headquarters, was actually President Qin in person. Oh my God, this was unbelievable. What's going on? How could you be? Mr. Nick? Hua Min was confused. She never would have thought that the big boss of GK's American headquarters, who pissed her off, was actually her husband. Oh my God, was there anything more dramatic than this? Qin Shu was the president of GK's American headquarters. Chapter 1789. My uncle used to be a major shareholder there. Our family has always had shares in the company. Qi Ning is also a senior executive there. After I found out what happened, I sent my parents to Hawaii to recuperate. My uncle, Qi Ning, and I have been working at the headquarters. The previous president, Mr. Smith, got sick last year and resigned. The position of president has been vacant for a long time. I went through a series of selections and was finally elected as the new president by the board of directors. That's what happened. Qin Chu said it casually, but Hua Min knew that it must have been a lot of hardships. Mr. Qin, you're still so amazing. I'm really impressed. Hua Min praised sincerely. No, compared to Mrs. Qin, I'm nothing. Mrs. Qin went from a doctor to a CEO within 3 years, and her performance was outstanding. Otherwise, the headquarters in the U.S. wouldn't have asked me, the big boss, to come here personally. You're always teasing me. Hua Min accidentally pushed Qin Chu. He lost his balance and almost fell down the stairs. Hua Min hurriedly held him up and looked down at his leg. Indeed, his movements weren't as agile as before. If Qin Chu could endure it for 4 years, his injury must be very serious. Does it still hurt? Hua Min looked at Qin Chu's leg with concern. No, it stopped a long time ago. When the plane crashed, Hua Min reached out and touched Qin Chu's lips. Don't worry, we'll talk about this when we get home. What you need to do now is walk up the stage with me and let the twins see their daddy. Before Qin Chu could say anything, Hua Min took his hand and walked slowly toward the hall. Hua Min had never been so excited. She felt like she could feel everyone's eyes on her. Her man was back. Her husband was finally back. Qin Chu didn't die. These thoughts grew wildly in Hua Min's mind. She wanted to announce it to the whole world. Immersed in the joy of Qin Chu's return, Hua Min ignored Su Yu's feelings and didn't think too much about it. She held on to Qin Chu's hand and walked inside in a high-profile manner. As expected, Qin Chu's appearance immediately caused an uproar. Hey, look, who's that man beside President Hua? He looks so familiar. Huh, is that President Hua's boyfriend? Isn't President Hua and President Su the best couple? That man looks like President Hua's ex-husband. He looks so familiar. No way. Hua to the Hua Mian Su Yu. What's going on? Mom, look, is that my brother-in-law? Jixin was sitting next to his mother. He was also dumbfounded when he saw Qin Chu. Yang Meirong looked carefully under the light. Then, her expression changed drastically. Is that Qin Chu? Yang Meirong wasn't sure. Upon hearing Qin Chu's name, the 3 members of the Su family were all shocked. Lord Su had never seen Qin Chu in person. He had only seen photos. This was his first time seeing him. He narrowed his eyes and sized up the man under the spotlight. Black shirt, black pants, and a perfect side profile. When he walked over, he had the aura of a king. He was indeed a man who could suppress Su Yu. Mr. Su didn't say a word. He just looked in the direction of the crowd and saw Hua Min and Qin Chu walking over. Is that really Mion's lover? Lady Su was also very surprised. At this moment, she subconsciously turned to look at the second table. However, she realized that Su Yu had already left. Lady Su's heart suddenly ached. Chapter 1790. Lady Su felt a little melancholy. It seemed like her son was going to be heartbroken again. When Qin Chu walked up, the people at the second table were all in an uproar. Gao Ran stood up excitedly. He couldn't hold back the yelling in his heart. He really wanted to shout out Chu's name in front of everyone. Oh my God, it really is him. He finally came back safe and sound. Gao Ran was a little incoherent. It really is. Mr. Qin, he really came back, Zhu Lingling muttered to herself as she sat there in a daze. Jiang Xiaowei, on the other hand, looked very relieved. My Mian didn't wait in vain. She was happy for Huamin. Although she also felt bad for Su Yu, Jiang Xiaowei knew that Huamin didn't live a happy life for the past 4 years. All the happiness was just a pretense. He lived for the sake of his daughters. Without Qin Chu, Huamin was already a walking corpse. He was a shell without a soul. Huamin had been living under a mask of his own for the past 4 years. No one could see his sadness. President Qin, you're really back. It seems like Sister Mian can finally rest in peace. And Aiyang smiled. Qin Chu and Huamin held hands as they walked down the long red carpet towards the center of the stage. The twins, who hadn't gotten off the stage after their song, were also dumbfounded. Sis, look at that person. Is that Daddy? Little Bean asked in her baby voice. I really think so. He looks a lot like us. No, we look a lot like him. The twins were also dumbfounded when they saw their mommy appear with their dazzling daddy. Was this supposed to be a birthday surprise? Pudding, Little Bean, this is Daddy. Huamin walked over and held their little hands as they walked up to Qin Chu. Wow, Daddy, you're so handsome in real life. You're 10,000 times more handsome than in photos. Little Bean was always good at flattering. She immediately ran over and hugged Qin Chu's leg tightly. When Qin Chu looked at the two little guys, his heart almost melted. He bent down and picked up Little Bean, kissing her cheek again and again. Pudding, you should go too, Huamin reminded his sister. To his surprise, Pudding, who was always smart and calm, calmly looked at Huamian and asked, Mommy, Daddy's back. What about handsome Su? To Su's surprise, Mian, Su was speechless. Subconsciously, she looked down the stage and saw that Su Yu was no longer sitting there. Could it be that he already knew about Qin Chu's return? After Qin Chu kissed Little Bean, he gently put her down and looked at Pudding with a smile. Come here, let Daddy hug you. Qin Chu took the initiative to invite her. He had long heard that the older daughter was calm, smart, and arrogant, while the younger daughter liked to act cute. They were both unique. He had seen their photos since they were little. Now, there were countless photo albums in his bedroom, all of which were of Huamin and the twins. Pudding was a little shy. She looked into Qin Chu's eyes and slowly walked over. There was a hint of arrogance in her movements. Qin Chu suddenly picked her up. You sang really well in English. Pudding, you're great. Daddy, what about me? Little Bean raised her head and asked unhappily. You're great too. You're both great. Of course. We're Qin Chu's and Huamin's daughters after all. Pudding continued to be arrogant. Qin Chu kissed Pudding again before reluctantly putting her down. At this moment, the audience was in an uproar. Huamin took the microphone from Bella and said softly, Let me introduce you to the person next to me. Everyone held their breaths, and the audience was silent. This is my husband, Qin Chu, Huamin announced to the world as she held onto Qin Chu's hand sweetly. After she said this, the audience went wild again. In an inconspicuous corner not far away, Huasiqian crushed the wine glass in his hand. Blood slowly dripped down his palm. It was a horrifying sight. Chapter 1791. Boss, your hand. Huasiqian's subordinates were scared out of their wits. Get out of my way, you bunch of idiots. He's already back, and you didn't even find a single clue. What's the point of keeping you guys around? Huasiqian gritted his teeth and scolded coldly. The person who made Huasiqian's dorm room uneasy and scared for 4 whole years suddenly appeared out of nowhere. In contrast to Su Yu's sadness, Huasiqian was extremely pissed. Huasiqian's hand was pierced by the glass shards, but he didn't seem to feel any pain. Compared to these superficial wounds, what hurt him even more was the happy smile on Huamin's face beside Qin Chu. She actually felt like it was an eyesore. After Huamin finished speaking, he handed the microphone to Qin Chu and gestured for him to say a few words. Qin Shu took the microphone and looked around. Then, he slowly opened his mouth. His voice was incomparably beautiful. Thank you all for coming to my daughter's birthday party. Thank you. Qin Shu didn't say much. He only said one simple sentence, and it caused an uproar in the crowd. Then, Huamin waved his hand, signaling for the banquet to begin. Then, the family of four slowly walked down from the stage. The scene was extremely beautiful. Yang Meirong was so excited that tears fell from her eyes when she saw her daughter's family reunited. Jixin also rushed up and hugged Qin Shu, brother-in-law. Jixin, thank you for taking care of your sister while I was gone, Qin Shu said faintly. We're family. No need to be so polite. Brother-in-law, it's good that you're back. The Su family was shocked to see Qin Shu. They probably thought that since he hadn't been back for 4 years, he probably wouldn't come back. Therefore, they thought that Su Yu still had hope. Now that Qin Shu is back, Su, Grandpa Su, Uncle Su, Auntie Su, I'm grateful to the Su family for taking in Mian and my son back then. Words can't express my gratitude. If the Qin family needs anything in the future, we won't stand by and do nothing. After that, Qin Shu bowed deeply 3 times to the Su family. You flatter me. Hurry and get up. Master Lord Su could not bear to make things difficult for Qin Shu. Even though he knew that Qin Shu was his grandson's love rival, he still personally helped Qin Shu up. Kid, don't be so polite. We've been treating Mian, Pudding, and Little Bean like our own children. You're being too serious. Lord Su, it's not appropriate for me to say too much about today's situation. I'll definitely pay a visit to thank you another day. Qin Shu's eyes were filled with incomparable sincerity. His gratitude to the Su family wasn't just for show. Mom, I'm sorry for making you worry. Qin Shu turned around and looked at Yang Meirong, who was crying. Yang Meirong excitedly held onto Qin Shu's hand. Kid, it's good that you're back. It's good that you're back. The family is finally reunited. Sis, this is a good thing. Don't cry. Lady Su picked up a tissue and comforted Yang Meirong. Everyone's emotions were extremely complicated. Then, Qin Shu and Huamin went to the second table. Jiang Xiaowei, Wei Liao, Zhu Lingling, and Gao Ran's table. Qin Shu and Gao Ran looked at each other for 3 seconds, and then the two of them hugged each other like men reuniting with each other. Gao Ran was a tough man, but even he couldn't help but cry. I really thought you. You scared us to death. Gao Ran's voice was a little choked up. Aren't we back now? Qin Shu smiled. Zhu Lingling pulled on Huamin's hand and lowered her voice. Mian, go check on Su Yu. What about him? Huamin was slightly surprised. Chapter 1792. He was going to propose to you in front of everyone after the twins' performance. He even prepared the ring, but now, I'm afraid he's the saddest one. Even if you don't like him, over the past few years, he's been, before Zhu Lingling could finish, Huamin interrupted her. I understand. I'll go find him now. You guys stay with Qin Shu and the kids. Upon hearing Zhu Lingling mention the proposal, Huamin was extremely surprised. No one had mentioned it to her before, so she had no idea what a proposal was. No wonder she couldn't find Su Yu anywhere. He must have been too disappointed. He had prepared the ring and the proposal for so long, but before he could express it, Qin Shu's return shattered all his fantasies. Huamin felt terrible. What she was most afraid of was hurting Su Yu unknowingly. So for the past 4 years, she had never given him a glimmer of hope. But now, Huamin whispered into Qin Shu's ear, I'm going out for a bit. You take care of the kids. Okay. Qin Shu understood what Huamin was going to do. Tang Chuan seemed to be angry. When he saw Qin Shu, he got up and left without looking back. Wei Liao, on the other hand, looked calm. He sat next to Jiang Xiaowei and chatted with everyone. Qin Shu's words were the same as before, but in the past 4 years, he seemed to have become gentler. It was a gentleness that hadn't been there before. Perhaps it was because he became a father. Huamin was wearing a long blue dress, so it wasn't very convenient for her to walk. She had to carry it with both hands from time to time. President Hua, where are you going? I'll go with you. Bella was worried and followed him out. Did you see President Sue? Oh, I think he went to the back of the boat alone. MHM, you don't have to follow me. I'm fine. You can take care of the scene. Call me if you need anything. After that, Huamin lifted her long skirt and walked towards the stern of the ship. When Huasiqian saw Huamin walking away alone, he turned and followed him. But before he reached the door and stopped him, President Hua, please wait. What do you mean? Huasiqian sneered. Don't I have the freedom to come and go as I please? You can go in and out freely, but this place is restricted. Other than President Su and President Hua, no one is allowed to enter. President Su and President Hua. Oh, I know. Could be a good place for them to have an affair. Huasiqian said viciously. What nonsense are you talking about? Do you think that everyone is as despicable as you? If you dare to insult President Su again, don't blame me for being rude to you. Don't think that just because you're the president of the whole corporation, I can't do anything to you. Did the knife wound last time make you forget? And looked at him angrily. The two of them had fought head-on because of Huamin. At first, Huasiqian looked down on Su Yu's assistant. Because when he fought Su Yu one-on-one, he didn't lose, but that time almost lost his life. If he didn't dodge in time, his body would have been pierced by this brat's knife. From then on, he became more cautious. Therefore, in the past 3 years, he didn't have the chance to make a move on Huamin and his daughter. Good job, just you wait. I'll remember you, Huasiqian said ruthlessly. Anytime, and replied with clenched teeth. After Su Yu went to the back of the boat and sealed off the road and didn't let anyone get close. Huamin was an exception and had been by Huamin's side for 3 years. So he knew that Huamin wasn't an ungrateful person. She just didn't love Su Yu, and already understood Huamin's situation. But at the same time, he felt sorry for President Su's infatuation. When Huamin went over, Su Yu was sitting there alone. He seemed to be holding something in his hand, and was in a daze as the sea breeze blew on him. He looked terrible. His hair was slightly messy. Su Yu. She called his name and slowly walked over. Chapter 1793. Su Yu immediately hid the brocade box behind him. Then he stood up. Why are you here? Just now. Did Pudding and Little Bean sing well? Yes, they did. Did Pudding or Little Bean sing better? Huamin asked with a smile. Both. Whoa. That's a very official answer. It has to be official. Otherwise, if I say one of them, wouldn't I offend the other? Su Yu chuckled. He had been with twins for 3 years. He knew the temperament of the two little ones too well, ever since the two of them could talk. The question that Su Yu had been asked the most was, Handsome Su, who's prettier? If Su Yu said that they were both beautiful, they would obviously be dissatisfied. Must they compete to see who's better? If one of them was beautiful, the other would definitely be angry. So, how could Su Yu do something to offend them? Later, he thought of a way. When he was asked who was prettier, he would directly say that he thought Huamin was prettier. The two little guys were immediately speechless. Su Yu, thank you for tonight's banquet. You've prepared for so long. Thank you for your hard work. Huamin sincerely thanks Su Yu. Don't be so polite. In the past few years, the word you've said the most to me is thank you. I've heard it so many times that my ears are going to grow calluses. What is that behind you? Huamin tilted his head and asked. No, nothing. So he was a little flustered and hid behind him. Huamin walked over and immediately snatched it from behind him when he wasn't paying attention. It was an exquisite brocade box. On. So he wanted to stop him, but it was too late. Huamin had already opened the brocade box. Wow, what a beautiful diamond ring. Most importantly, it's such a big diamond. You're so rich. Huamian exclaimed with a smile. Su Yu smiled awkwardly, but didn't say anything. This ring is so beautiful. I think it will definitely find its owner. Mian. Su Yu looked like he wanted to say something, but Huamin didn't give him a chance to speak. Su Yu, I don't want to say too much about the Su family's kindness to me, because it's not something that can be expressed with words. I've seen everything that you've done for me, Huamin and Little Bean, and I'm not an ungrateful person. I won't turn a blind eye to everything that you've done for me. But I hope you understand one thing. Even if Shu didn't come back, we still wouldn't be together. Some things are destined from the beginning. I don't want to lie to you, and I don't want to choose to be with you out of gratitude and sympathy. That would be irresponsible and disrespectful to you, and you deserve a better woman by your side. The powerful Lord Su doesn't need pity and charity. Maybe other people will say, look, Shu came back, so Huamin immediately kicked Suyu away. But the truth is, that's not the case. I never wanted to kick you away as soon as Shu came back. Our relationship will be the same in the future, and nothing will change just because Shu came back. I don't want to say anything to brush you off, and I don't want to ask you to be my sister or my brother, and I definitely won't emphasize that we'll be friends forever. You're already a very close family member to me. You're an important person in my life. There's something I want to say that might make you sad, but I still want to say that I really love Shu. He's the only man I've ever loved. I know. Suyu smiled bitterly. And you're a very important man to me, whether it's a friend or a family member. Anyways, no matter what, I will never abandon you. I won't force you to find another woman and then dump you to ease my mind. I just think that you're such a good person and deserve someone better, someone who is completely yours. Although she hasn't appeared yet, I believe that you'll find her. Keep the ring. I hope that one day you'll be able to give it to her. Huamin handed the ring to Suyu. Mian, if Shu didn't come back today and I proposed to you in front of everyone, would you have said yes? It's been 3 years. Don't you like me even a little bit? So you didn't want to give up. He didn't have time to express his feelings, so he didn't know the answer. He knew that Huamin never lied, so he really wanted to know the answer. Chapter 1794. After hearing Su Yu's words, Huamin remained silent for 3 seconds. Then she slowly said, although it's a little cruel to tell the cruel truth is much more realistic than a white lie. I'm sorry, Suyu, I've never liked you. I've never liked you. Even if Shu doesn't come back and never comes back, I won't marry someone else. It's not because you're not good enough. It's because my heart is already filled with Shu. I don't have any space left for you. Huamin knew that if she said this, Suyu would be very sad. But since things had already come to this point, she might as well say it directly so that he wouldn't have any more hope. Okay, I understand. Suyu tried his best to suppress his emotions. He didn't let his tears fall. Then he put the brocade box into his pocket without leaving a trace. He didn't want to make things difficult for Huamin anymore. Thank you, Huamin. Thank you for never lying to me. Thank you for telling me the truth. After saying this, Suyu turned around. Suyu, Huamin didn't finish her sentence. Suyu smiled with tears in his eyes. We're still the same. Nothing will change just because Shu came back. After hearing this, Huamin smiled with relief. She really didn't want to awkwardly distance herself from Suyu just because Shu came back. For Huamin was the one who saved Suyu. He was like family to her. Suyu was her savior, and he was like family to her. She tossed out love and family. It was a relationship that she could never let go of. After explaining everything to Suyu, Huamin felt a little sad. She actually cared a lot about Suyu. However, love was never about pity. It was about pity and sympathy. Suyu was a man who was like an emperor and had a strong self-esteem. He didn't need Huamin to pity him. On the contrary, Huamin hoped that a man as outstanding as Suyu deserved a better and more complete love. Instead of being entangled with her in a 3-person world, a short pain is better than a long pain. Huamin had always hoped that Suyu would be able to accept the pain and let go of everything. When Huamin went back, he sat with Shu at the dinner table and had dinner with his family and friends. Suyu returned to his room in the first-class cabin and locked himself up. Huamin's words just now seemed to have dealt a huge blow to him. He knew that he had been too greedy. From the very beginning, Huamin had rejected his feelings for Huamin. Huamian had never given him any hope. It was his own wishful thinking that there would be a chance. It turned out that Huamin had never liked him, Not even a little bit. Suyu smiled bitterly. He took out a cigarette and put it in his mouth. Then he sat on a luxurious leather sofa and looked at the sea outside the glass window. Inside the hall, Pudding climbed down from Huomin's arms. Mommy, I'm going out for a while. Where are you going? Huomin was surprised. It's a secret. Then Pudding climbed down and ran away. Before Huomin could say anything, she was gone. At this time, the foodie little bean put down the tiramisu cake in her hand and climbed down from Chinchu's arms. Daddy, sorry. I'll leave you for a moment, Little Bean said in a cute voice, trying to coax Chinchu. To be honest, Chinchu wasn't used to the way these two little adults talked. They were so mature. Chapter 1795. Little Bean, where are you going? Chinchu looked at his daughter gently and asked. Pudding is sneaking around behind my back. She's up to no good. I'm going to keep an eye on her. Bye. Then she ran toward Pudding's direction. Little Bean, Huomin yelled. President Hua, don't worry. I'll follow them. And appeared behind Huomin out of nowhere. He glanced at Chinchu's face and then glanced at Huomin. Okay, follow them. Don't cause any trouble. Within a round, Huomian wasn't worried about their safety. She was only worried that the two scheming kids would cause trouble. Mommy, where did Pudding and Little Bean go? Wei Yinshu asked Jiang Xiaowei. They went out to play. Do you want to go? No. Wei Yinshu refused without hesitation. Why not? Aren't they your good friends? Huomin teased Wei Yinshu. They're so scary. They keep asking me who's prettier. I can't say they're both prettier. If I say one of them is prettier, the other one will beat me up. Wei Yinshu pouted and complained. Everyone laughed when they heard this. Children's words carried no harm. Things between children were always so cute and adorable. Pudding and Little Bean walked around, but didn't find anything. Sis, you're looking for Handsome Sue, right? Little Bean asked as she ate a lollipop. Do I need you to tell me? Isn't it obvious? Everyone on Earth knows it. Okay. Pudding said proudly. Then why don't you ask Uncle? Why do you have to look for him yourself? It's so troublesome. What do you know? It's more sincere to look for him myself. Pudding rolled her eyes at Little Bean, not wanting to talk to the foodie. Finally, the two little guys stood outside Suyu's door. I'm telling you, let's go in one by one. Otherwise, Handsome Sue won't know who to listen to. I'll go in first. You can talk after I finish. Pudding turned around and warned. Little Bean licked her lollipop unhappily. Why are you going in first? Because I'm her elder sister. So what if she's an elder sister? Handsome Sue won't like you just because you're an older sister. Shut up. If you say one more word, I'll throw you into the sea to feed the fish. I don't even know why you're following us. You should have just gone to Daddy and whined to him. Daddy is Daddy. How can he be compared to Handsome Sue? When we grow up, we're going to marry Handsome Sue, not Daddy. Little Bean said seriously. At this moment, Xiaoan, who was protecting the twins, was dumbfounded. Heavens, this is really a conversation between a pair of 3-year-old children. It was terrifying, wasn't it? In the end, Pudding defeated Little Bean. She had the right to see Handsome Sue first. What was cute was that before Pudding went in, she even tidied up her slightly messy hair and dress. Then, he pretended to knock on the door. Give me some peace and quiet. Don't come in, Suyu said coldly. Handsome Sue, it's me. Pudding changed her usual arrogant tone and said in a childish voice. Suyu froze slightly. Then he turned his head. The moment he saw the little girl, his eyes became gentle. Pudding, why are you here? I've been waiting in the living room for a long time. I was worried about you when you didn't come for dinner, Pudding said as she walked over. Then she sat down on the sofa beside Suyu like a little adult. Suyu was afraid that the smoke would affect the child, so he immediately put out his cigarette. To his surprise, Pudding said seriously, if you're in a bad mood, you can continue smoking. I don't mind. So you didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I'm not smoking. I can't let my little princess breathe secondhand smoke. Suyu smiled and patted Pudding's head. Where's Little Bean? Why are you here alone? I asked her to wait at the door because I want to talk to you alone. You want to talk to me alone? Suyu was speechless and couldn't help but laugh. Chapter 1796. Was this really a 3-year-old child? Why'd you make it sound so grand? Yes. Would you say no? Pudding looked at Suyu with her adorable eyes. Suyu's heart almost melted. In the past 3 years, he loved the twins as much as he loved their biological father. Of course not. It's my honor to have Pudding talk to me. Suyu smiled. Then I'm going to say it, okay? Suyu nodded gently. First of all, you might not like what I'm going to say, but I have to say it. You know that my daddy's back, right? Pudding asked. Yeah, I know. It's been 3 years, and this is the first time I've seen him. To be honest, I have mixed feelings. I won't comment on Daddy, but in the past 3 years, this is the first time I've seen Mommy so happy. She's a very quiet person. She's always calm and collected. But today, I saw excitement, surprise, and the joy and shyness of a little girl on her face. I think she really loves Daddy. So he was a little disappointed when he heard what the kid said, but he still nodded and agreed with Pudding. You're right. Your Mommy really loves her Daddy. Handsome Sue loves Mommy so much. Now that Daddy's back, you're probably the saddest person in the world. But I want to say that you're not unloved. I'll love you just like before. I love Daddy too. Thank you, Pudding. Sue bent down and kissed Pudding's slightly curly hair. Sue didn't expect this arrogant little princess to be so adorable. She really warmed his heart. Let me finish. What I mean is, my love for Daddy is like a daughter's love for her father. But my love for you is different, Pudding said seriously. How is it different? Sue smiled. When I grow up, I'm going to marry handsome Sue, Pudding said slowly. Puffed. Sue almost spat out his saliva. What's with that expression? Pudding crossed her arms in front of her chest, clearly unhappy. Pudding, do you know what marriage means? Of course. Don't underestimate my intelligence. I'm not looking down on your intelligence. I just think that you're still a child and don't understand that kind of thing. That's my problem. Your problem is whether you'll marry me or not. Pudding said proudly. Pudding, when you grow up, even if 20 years from now, you'll be 23 years old and I'll be 50 years old. This is the biggest joke in the world. Okay, it's too stressful for you to talk about this right now. I'll take it slow. There's no rush. Pudding sighed slightly. Sue was completely dumbfounded. Anyway, don't be sad. Mommy doesn't know how good you are, but I do. Don't think too much. Then, she stood up and sat on the sofa with her arms around his neck. She gently kissed him on the cheek. She didn't forget to secretly remind him, when Pudding comes in, ignore her no matter what she says. She's too undisciplined and not suitable for you. Sue was so shocked that he didn't know what to say. Pudding then proudly walked out of the room with her head held high. It's your turn, but I don't think you stand a chance. Just give up. Handsome Sue won't fall in love with a foodie. After all, he likes smart and calm girls like Mommy. I'm not. Humph. Don't be so smug. We don't know who handsome Sue will like. Pudding was obviously not convinced. Pudding swaggered into the room. As soon as she stepped into the room, she spread her wings and rushed over. She directly jumped into Sue Yu's arms. Handsome Sue, where did you go? I missed you so much. Playing the pig to eat the tiger and acting cute and obedient was what second brother was best at. Sue felt the same way about them. He picked up Pudding and kissed her forehead. Good girl, Pudding. Uncle Sue is fine. He's just too tired, so he's resting in the room. Handsome Sue, are you in a bad mood? Is it because of my dad's sudden return? Pudding held Sue Yu's face and asked in all seriousness. Sue, on the other hand, felt really awkward. What was going on? Chapter 1797. It's not that. Don't overthink it, little bean. Sue comforted her. Liar. It's because of that. Don't be embarrassed. I know you. Little Bean patted Sue Yu's shoulder like an adult. Sue, handsome Sue, yeah? Who's prettier, me or Pudding? Sue, hearing Little Bean's words, Sue felt a headache coming on. Ever since the two sisters could speak, they had asked this question hundreds of times. Was there really a need to answer? What? Is it hard to answer? Little Bean pressed. No. Little Bean, you're both pretty because you look exactly the same. You're twins. We're obviously different. Don't you think I have a better temperament than Pudding? Suyu chuckled. Did Little Bean have to be so cute? Did she really know what temperament was at such a young age? Are you laughing at me? Little Bean pouted. No. I mean, Little Bean, you're right. You have a better temperament. Really? Little Bean was delighted. Really? Handsome Sue. You're so nice. Don't be sad, okay? I'll give you my candy. Then, before Suyu could say anything, Little Bean took out her lollipop and stuffed it into Suyu's mouth. Suyu froze on the spot. He really wanted to say that there was saliva on the lollipop, but is it good? Little Bean looked innocent and continued to act cute. It's good. Suyu braced himself and didn't dare to say that it wasn't good. Otherwise, this little princess wouldn't let him go. Good boy. Mommy said, no matter how sad something is, it's better to eat a candy. Remember that life is always sweet. Did your mom say that, or you? Suyu didn't believe her. What does it matter? It's the same anyway. Suyu, okay, Little Bean, you're right. I don't know what to say. Then let's go out together, okay? The banquet is about to end. I don't want you to miss the last Easter egg. Little Bean held Suyu's hand and said in a childish voice. The Easter egg for Pudding and Little Bean's third birthday was carefully arranged by Suyu. There were many, many fireworks, all of which were meticulously custom-made by him. There were all sorts of Disney designs, and they were all of the twins' favorite cartoon characters. It would definitely be beautiful and spectacular on the cruise ship. Although Suyu was in a bad mood, he couldn't resist Little Bean's persuasion. In the end, he held her hand and walked out. Seeing this, Pudding rushed up and grabbed Suyu's other hand. Just like that, Suyu held her two chubby little hands and stood on the deck of the cruise ship. Looking at the sky full of fireworks, it was as if everything was a dream. Oh, so beautiful. She's so pretty. Handsome Sue, you're so romantic. The twins seemed to like this gift very much. They couldn't stop marveling at the fireworks. After the fireworks show, the guests left the cruise ship one after another. As soon as Suyu got into his black Lamborghini, he saw him open the door and sit down in the passenger seat. President Sue, I'll go back with you. And what are you doing here? Suyu was surprised. President Hua's husband is back. I don't think I'll be needed in the future. How can that be? As long as Hua Xiqian isn't dead, Mian is still in danger. You should follow her for now. Unless she says it's not convenient for her, you can always protect her. Suyu's attitude was very firm. I'll go back and protect President Hua. What about you? What are you going to do? And felt bad for his boss. Chapter 1798. I'm fine. Hua Xiqian isn't after me. Don't worry. Then all right. And didn't want to give up, but he followed Suyu's orders and went back to Huamin's place. He followed the family. Qin Shu's return turned Huamin from a strong woman into a shy girl. Inside the big Mercedes-Benz, Huamin held on to Qin Shu's arm tightly, as if she was afraid that he would disappear if she let go. Mommy, Daddy won't run away. Is it okay for you to hold on to him so tightly? Pudding couldn't help but complain as she chewed on potato chips. Qin Shu smiled and pinched Pudding's cheek. Mommy misses Daddy. Daddy, do you miss Mommy and us? Of course. Then why did you take so long to come back to see us? Pudding's careless words made Qin Shu fall silent. Pudding looked at Qin Shu and said, Daddy, you came back just in time. Otherwise, Mommy would have been taken away by handsome Sue. Ahem. Pudding, what are you talking about? Huamin coughed dryly. Sometimes, she wondered if she really gave birth to these two little guys. Why were they so scary? Mommy won't be taken away, because Daddy knows that Mommy only has Daddy in her heart. So, Daddy, you're so confident and arrogant. I'm like you in this aspect, Pudding said proudly. Pudding didn't want to be outdone. Daddy, my IQ is like yours. Can the two of you stop talking? Can you give us some quiet time alone? Huamin couldn't take it anymore. It took them more than an hour to arrive at South Hill Manor. It was already 10 p.m. when they got home. The entire manor was brightly lit. Ever since Huamin and the kids moved back, the house was filled with warmth. Afraid that they would be lonely, Jixin and Yang Meirong also lived here. Qinshu looked at his home that he hadn't seen for a long time, and something seemed to flow slowly through his eyes. Uncle Li burst into tears when he saw Qinshu. "Sir? Uncle Li, I'm back." Qinshu smiled faintly. "Aya, that's great, that's great. Our family is finally reunited." Uncle Li couldn't help but wipe his tears. He seemed very excited. "Sir, have you eaten?" "I've already eaten. You don't have to work anymore. It's late. You guys should go and rest." "Mom, help me put them to sleep. I need to talk to Qinshu alone." Huamin instructed his mother. Yang Meirong nodded and held the twins' hands. "Come, let's go to bed." Pudding looked at Huamin and Qinshu meaningfully. "So, are you guys going to leave us alone and enjoy some alone time? So, are we going to have a little brother soon?" Little Bean added. Huamin was speechless. Qinshu was speechless. The twins' words struck a chord. "Ahem. You two should go to bed. Don't talk nonsense here. I really have to give up. I should talk to your Chinese teacher tomorrow. There's obviously something wrong with her logic. What kind of nonsense is she teaching?" Huamin was about to go crazy. The good thing was that there were no outsiders at home. If someone heard this, how embarrassing would that be? Those who didn't know would think that she had been horny for the past 3 years. As soon as Qinshu came back, he dragged her to bed. Huamin blushed at the thought of her daughter's dirty words. Chapter 1799. Yang Meirong took the twins back to their room to rest. Jixin knew that his sister and brother-in-law had a lot to talk about, so he went back to his room early. Qinshu and Huamin held hands and slowly walked up to the second floor. They walked into the master bedroom that they had always lived in. As soon as they opened the door and walked in, Huamin didn't even wait for Huamin to stand still. Qinshu pressed her against the wall and then leaned down. What followed was an overwhelming kiss. Like a storm, it engulfed Huamin's entire body. She wasn't even ready yet. Qinshu didn't let go of her until her entire body was limp and weak. He looked at her delicate and pretty face at such a close distance. It felt as unreal as a dream. Qinshu reached out his hand and gently stroked her silky hair. Then he moved his hand down her face. Then he moved his hand down to her cool and soft lips. He couldn't get enough of her. "Mian, it's been 4 years, 1,460 days and nights. There's not a day that I haven't missed you." "Me too." Huamin looked at Qinshu, her eyes as gentle as spring water. If she could, she wanted time to stop at this moment forever. "I'm sorry. I made you suffer these past 4 years. It's all my fault." Qinshu apologized sincerely. "No, it's not your fault. I was too reckless and let Rick kidnap you onto the plane. Then the plane crashed. You don't know how scared I was. I blame myself. If I didn't selfishly think that it was for your own good, that tragedy wouldn't have happened. I never hated you. I only hated myself." Huamin was already sobbing. Qinshu raised his hand and gently wiped the tears from the corners of her eyes. "Don't cry. I'm back now, right? Even though we've been apart for so long, God has been kind to me and allowed me to come back alive to see you guys. Mian, do you know? I'm actually really scared." "What are you afraid of?" Huamin asked softly. "I'm afraid, no matter how sincere my apologies are and how beautiful our memories are, they can't compare to the 4 years of Suyu's company. I don't have confidence in myself. I wasn't even by your side when you were in your most difficult times, when you were pregnant and had a baby. I'm afraid that you've already left me." "Would I? Do you have so little confidence in me?" Huamin smiled bitterly. If she had fallen in love with someone else, would she have waited for 4 years? She had probably already thrown herself into Suyu's arms, right? The problem was if he changed his mind so easily, would Huamin still be Huamin? She was the woman Qinshu had loved since he was young. Was she the woman Suyu fell in love with at first sight and could never forget? It's not that I don't have confidence in you. It's that I don't have confidence in myself. I'm no longer perfect. My legs might never recover, and in the future, holding you might even be an extravagant wish. Qin Shu looked down slightly. His eyes were filled with extreme lack of confidence. Actually, he should have been patient enough to find a better treatment plan and come back after he recovered. However, he couldn't take it anymore, especially in the past year. Every night, he was tormented. Almost every night, he dreamed of Huamin and his daughters. He wanted to come back, as if he was possessed. So even though he knew that this wasn't the best time to come back, he still came back. He thought that if she was already with Suyu, then he would leave without saying a word. He would just take one look at her. If she was still the same person, then he had greedy thoughts. Could they still be the same as before? He knew that his thoughts were selfish, but people would always have a selfish side because of the person they loved. Huamin slowly got up, squatted on the ground, and gently helped Qin Shu roll up his pants. Mian, don't. Qin Shu wanted to stop her. Let me see your legs, Huamin said as she ignored Qin Shu's attempts to stop her and rolled up his pants. Upon seeing the shocking wound, Huamin's tears immediately fell like a broken string of pearls. She couldn't control herself and cried. Chapter 1800. Around Qin Shu's right kneecap, there were shocking scars. No wonder he walked a little slower than usual. It must have been a serious injury. Huamin cried as she reached out her hand and gently touched it. How many surgeries did you have to leave scars like this? Huamin's voice was hoarse. Not many. I only had 4 surgeries, but the results weren't ideal. There are 7 steel nails inside. The kneecap isn't easy to deal with because it can't be regenerated, so we can only try using the latest technology. But right now, even if the United States uses the most economical technology in the world, I'm still not confident. I don't have any clinical experience, so I'm considered the first batch of lab rats. After speaking, Qin Shu smiled casually. He didn't want Huamin to worry too much, so he tried to make himself sound casual. However, he didn't know that Huamin's heart was bleeding at this moment. She was also a medical student, so no matter how simple and plain Qin Shu's description was, she could still feel the pain. He had 4 surgeries to repair his kneecap, but they all failed in the end, and he had to regenerate his kneecap before the technology was mature. What kind of process was this? Most importantly, Qin Shu had undergone such a major surgery, but it didn't affect his ability to walk. Other than being a little slower than usual, she really couldn't tell what kind of perseverance he had to be able to endure so many difficult years. Mian, don't cry. I'll be heartbroken. Qin Shu couldn't stand seeing Huamin cry. Before, every time Huamin got into trouble or made a mistake, Qin Shu would always take pity on him. As soon as Huamin pretended to be pitiful and cried, Qin Shu would immediately be defeated. It must have hurt a lot. Huamin gently touched the scar, sobbing. It doesn't hurt anymore. It's all in the past. Did you injure yourself in the plane crash? Huamian looked up. Yeah, I want to kill Hua Xiqian. In an instant, Huamin seemed to have suffered a great blow. He stood up, turned around, and was about to run. However, Qin Shu pulled her into his arms and hugged her tightly. Mian, don't be impulsive. I'm going to kill that bastard. Why can't he live peacefully after doing all these bad things? How unfair is God? Why can't good people be rewarded? Huamin cried. Qin Shu gently whispered in her ear, Hua Xiqian, I'll deal with him slowly. This is what a man should do. I can't let you shoulder everything for me anymore. You've worked too hard these past 4 years. No matter what happens in the future, I'll be there for you. Just stand behind me, hubby. Huamin raised her head and looked at Qin Shu. It really doesn't hurt anymore. Dummy, don't cry anymore. Don't worry anymore, hubby. I'll find a way to cure your leg. I'll make sure it fully recovers. Huamin made up her mind. Yeah, I believe you. My wife is a genius doctor after all. Upon hearing this, Huamin smiled through her tears. After showering, the two of them quietly lay on the bed. Huamin laid on Qin Shu's chest. She quietly listened to his heartbeat and felt at ease. How long had it been since she felt this safe? Tell me about the day of the plane crash. What happened that day? Huamin asked softly. Chapter 1801. Yeah, that day, Rick escorted me onto the plane in the middle of the night. The plane was arranged by Lino, and the people on the plane were all his men. At first, I didn't suspect anything, but after flying for a while, one of the bodyguards poured me a glass of water. Even though the water didn't look like anything wrong, we're all medical students, so we're very sensitive to smells. I smelled a faint fragrance in the water. Something felt off, so I didn't really drink it. I pretended to drink it and pretended to faint. Then, I overheard the conversation between two of them. That was when I realized that they'd been bribed by Huasiqian. They were going to hijack the plane and kill me. Unfortunately, I wasn't fooled. During the fight, I damaged parts of the plane. When the plane crashed, I took a parachute and jumped down, but it was the deep ocean. I floated for a long time. In the end, I was washed ashore. My right kneecap got stuck in the coral reef at the bottom of the ocean. The injury was very serious, and the local fishermen didn't have any advanced medicine or medical equipment. So I stayed in the fishing village for 3 days before leaving. At that time, a lot of people were looking for me, so I couldn't contact you. Huasiqian definitely wouldn't let go of me. So I secretly returned to the States. Then I went to Seattle to hide my whereabouts. So you didn't come back for the past few years. Other than the injury on your leg, the other reason you didn't come back was to investigate Huasiqian's power, right? Yes. Did you find anything? Huamin was curious. Yeah, I found a very important clue. There's a reason why Huasiqian is so arrogant. But the good thing is that we've figured out everything. Knowing your enemy is 100 battles. From now on, I won't let him hurt a single hair on my family. Huasiqian is no longer a surprise. The real worry isn't him. Then who is it? It's Ian. Who's Ian? Huamin was surprised. Speaking of Ian, he's related to you somehow. Qinshu glanced at Huamin. With me? Huamin was a little confused. This matter is related to your background. After speaking, Qinshu raised his hand and gently stroked Huamin's hair. For years ago, when I was taken away by the police, I was going to tell you about your family background. I didn't think that would be 4 years since we last met. It's okay. It's not too late to tell me now. I just want to hear you say it. Huamin held Qinshu's hand tightly and pressed her face against his chest like a spoiled child. Mian, your father is Professor Lu Jiwen. Lu Jiwen? Could it be? Huamin's face was full of shock. That's him. Qinshu seemed to know what Huamin was going to say. Oh my God. The famous chemistry genius Professor Lu, the old man who doesn't even want to accept the Nobel Prize in chemistry. The scholar who's rumored to be the #1 chemistry genius in 100 years. He my father? Huamin had never studied abroad. However, because of her passion for chemistry and medicine, she had read many books and theses about Professor Lu. She was no stranger to his achievements. She always thought that he was a godlike figure. He was too far away from her. She never thought that Qinshu would tell her that he was her biological father. How shocking was this? If it wasn't Qinshu who said this, she wouldn't believe it even if she was beaten to death. However, she knew that Qinshu would never lie, let alone joke about something like this. You're tuning into the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.